You are now listening to The Sports Table.
You know what's funny about Hailey? I went to a restaurant. I had to pick up some food. I go to the restroom. All Hispanic. You know, you see like flies everywhere. I look to my left, and it says blokes. I look to my right, and it says Sheila's. I'm like, so these are the doors at Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, they just stole the Outback
They stole
doors.
the signs from the Outback Steakhouse, and they put it on the front of their doors.
With Chris.
I was hacked here at work on my Facebook, and a friend of mine posted a status of the closet is dark, I'm coming out. And everyone was like, it's about time. I have to change something about my personality. Bring my girlfriend as many places as I can.
Theo Carlos.
That
Shut up,
first
man.
take show, for the love of Jesus, man. That's like watching the Bravo channel, man. With Skiptora Bayless and Stefania A. Smith. Give me a freaking break, man. Housewives of Bristol. And watch those two little bitches bicker back and forth.
Alan.
I'm very curious because they present something completely different from the general politics amongst the big families. And I just don't know what to expect out of those two. Maybe we're taking over a dragon?
What's that?
And Theo George.
No, yeah. No, except for last night. Yeah. I mean, no, you know what? I'm going to go back to watching. I don't know what I'm watching. Toda la mierda que está ahí, ¿qué cosa hay?
Because here, nothing is off the table.
Can you imagine that conversation when they start nailing it in there? Yes.
No, I want the explanation.
Que lo que es un bloke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how many people?
carajo estás, Chila?
You know how many,
¿Cuánto va un Chila?
you know how many people have stopped in front of the doors and gone back and asked, where the hell is the men's bathroom?
Porque vi un bloke ahí, pero ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué coño bloque y chila ni un carajo, chico?
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away.
Everybody, ready? Everybody. Come on, we all know it.
But I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the man who died.
I've been accused of being a Taoist, so I'm not sure what to do here.
And I'd proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the Sports Table,
Yeah, we're
everybody.
here, baby.
Woo!
All right, communist pig sitting in the corner not singing.
Hey, you're the one that said I'm a
Revolutionary.
Taoist. I didn't want to insult our great nation.
Revolutionary Maoist.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, and he's wearing camouflage too. This guy's ready to go duck hunting or something, and he won't even sing for the American flag.
No, he's gonna go hunt Americans.
Are you the guy? Are you the guy that doesn't take your hat off when they sing the national
That's him.
anthem?
No, I
That's
take
him.
the hat off
That's
every
him.
time.
No, you stay sitting down is what it is.
That's him
No,
too.
I stand up
That's him
too.
He does that too. And he does this.
You lift your hand in the fist.
Yeah.
I was
And the
like,
head
Carlos,
goes
this
down.
is not a visual medium. He does this doesn't help anyone.
I know that was a George thing right there. Because
He does this.
How many times has George said
No,
like?
I swear, it was like this big. George, they can't see this big.
Yeah, they don't know. He kept doing this. He kept doing this. What the hell is that, George? You gotta explain what it is. Do you not salute? Like there's like someone there, and you just like you flip it over to the middle finger when they salute you. Alan's American, but I just want to
No, he's
continue
not.
this stereotype.
No, he's not. He's not American.
I'm some kind of communist. This
He
is
is.
always,
Some kind.
Now
I
consider-
know the kind of communist you are.
considering our future segment, I'm not looking good right now.
Wait a second. Explain the shirt purchase. Why did you get that shirt?
I didn't buy this shirt. My dad had this shirt because he
Okay.
has to travel in the South and do hunting events with Budweiser.
Okay.
Why is
So-
that not surprising that you wouldn't buy that?
I wouldn't buy it because I'm cheap.
No, because you're not Americano.
Okay. Anyway,
If you had a choice to be born, would you rather be born in America or Japan?
Yugoslavia
hell, here.
or China?
Here, right?
Here, no.
Or Russia.
Look, it's great once you're American and then go to Japan. It's not great to be Japanese to start. That's not exactly the wonder system over there.
We are back at the Sports Hill, everybody. Another week. I have Carlos to my left.
I'm here.
Alan to my right.
Oh,
No George today. What a surprise.
5 out of 6 weeks.
It's been that bad.
5 out of 6.
But he's working hard. We have someone filling in for him. He's the first time here in the studio with us. It's my brother, my middle brother, Josh.
Joshua,
Josh, say hello
welcome,
to all
Josh.
your
Welcome.
fans, man.
Hello.
Matt's also sitting here next to us.
Matt's
It's like,
been here before.
It's an overload of Sanchez, I feel like.
we said Sanch earlier, and all three of you just shook your head like, what? Who? Me? Huh?
All we need now is for Mark Sanchez to walk in.
Don't ever say that.
But fumble.
Negative.
We are back to the Sports Table, and we have a lot to get to today. The Dolphins, they lost on Monday Night Football in dramatic fashion. And by dramatic, I mean embarrassing. The Heat, a little bit of struggles. LeBron James had some comments that ESPN was saying, look at LeBron James. He's complaining about the start. He's leaving to Cleveland. We have a tsunami, hurricane, storm of magnetic proportions that have never been recorded in the human history.
That's pretty
You
impressive.
mean a typhoon?
That's what he meant.
What's the difference between a typhoon and a hurricane? It's just what they
I
call
think
it,
it's
right?
rotation depending on where it is.
And one's in the Pacific, one's in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think the only
Basically
difference is, too. So we have a lot to get to today. Incognito news is still everywhere. It's died down a little bit ever since the Dolphins played. Hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but not. The more revelations are coming out, and more
Right.
interesting facts are coming out.
Right.
And, Stephen Ross getting the brakes put on him when he wanted to meet with Jonathan Martin. So there's a few things that are going on, and
No, it'll pick back up.
yeah, it's going to get very explosive once that meeting. I think it happens on Friday.
We have a North Korea segment. Alan's been looking forward to bringing us that for a while.
It's like story time.
Surprising, huh?
We we have
Look here, imperialist pig.
Okay.
we have some college basketball. It was the 24-hour loop yesterday, and the top four teams played in the country, and probably the top 3 picks in the draft played last night.
That's what I found really interesting, to have those 3 guys playing at the same time, and that was
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
The Jonathan Martin, we're going to get to all that later, but the Jonathan Martin incognito story has blown up where we have, Lebitard fighting against Golick. We have, people not calling him a man. Then we have new revelation that Martin might have said that he would kill Incognito's family.
Then it was a meme.
Then it was a meme. And it's like, it's one of those weird stories where, honestly, I wish it was St. Louis rather than Miami, because it's not interesting. Even though it's national news, it's not interesting.
No, I think when you have 1,042 texts between 2 men in less than a year, there's something going on. There's something going on. I haven't texted 1,042 times since I got my phone, let alone, regardless of what you think on Sundays.
Right.
I don't text that much.
I don't know, man. You're
I'm
making
about to say,
a run
don't
for it.
Sundays multiply your number
Yeah.
exponentially?
My numbers go from 4 on during Monday through Saturday to 16 on Sunday. And I do them all in like a 30-second moment. As soon as I see something that really ticks me off.
But it's 16 times how many? 4 people? Who do you text on the Sundays? Me? George? You text Alan?
I text Alan.
Yeah, I'm in there.
I include him in the group.
Just us 3?
Yeah,
Just
that's
the Sports
it.
Table?
Nobody else. Who else am I going to talk to?
And Twitter.
Yeah, and Twitter. Yeah, I got a lot to say.
And
A lot to say on Twitter. I'm hitting up Sean Salisbury. I'm hitting up Orlando, and then I'm getting retweeted throughout the nation.
Look at
so
that,
I'm
man.
very
Throughout the
excited.
nation.
I'm very excited.
Throughout the
I'm
nation.
very, very excited.
By the way, why didn't you buy into your own brand? Did you buy any stock? The
You know what?
IPO initially started off with Twitter last week.
Yeah, it was like what, $36 or
It
something?
started at 24, and now it's jumped up to 44.
Well, I was watching. Actually, I happened to be watching right before the IPO came out. Right before it hit, I was watching CNN, and their financial advisor was talking about how much of a crash that's going to take.
Really?
Yeah, within the next year or so, it's not structurally sound enough or big enough financially to be able to undergo the IPO right now. So I think they expected to have a struggle the first year and a half to 2 years.
Those internet stock options and just companies, it's hard to quantify how successful they could be, because Facebook started off and it was supposed to be the biggest thing since, Google stock or Apple stock. and it just tanked.
Tank.
It tanked, and Twitter, I feel like, has a little bit more backing because Twitter is actually who owns Twitter? No, I'm sorry. Twitter owns Vine. I'm sorry, I got that confused. But Twitter, I feel like, it's even bigger than Facebook because when the the representative of Iran is tweeting at John Kerry, like that has more weight than a Facebook like.
Yeah, I think it does, and that technology gives everybody an opportunity, gives everybody a voice, no matter where you're at. All you got to do is find somebody's handle, and you can pretty much tweet them.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, I was watching that same report that I was talking about had a secondary part to it where they were talking to him I forget his name though, but they were talking to him in reference to the future of Twitter, and right now they're developing, and they should be ready to implement within the year the new reform of Twitter, which is going to allow you to walk into JCPenney and all of a sudden start getting hit with coupons.
Oh, really?
People at JCPenney's will know you're there. They'll contact you. So it's going to be very, very interactive, much more so than it is now. You have to obviously enable some kind of locator, some kind of locator on your phone,
right,
to be able to. And when you walk into all these different stores in the mall, or when you walk into wherever you go, Twitter will know you're there, and they'll be able to contact you, which in itself is kind of scary. But
right.
but it's a tool, I think, that the mainstream merchandising media is gonna take apart, and I think it's gonna hit all Main Street and those kind of areas where they can market.
You know what's scary? I'm going to talk about a story. I'm talking about like Terminator. What is it? Skynet style. There was a report, I want to say a year and a half ago, that Target itself had scanners in the videos, like in the video cameras. When you walk in, and they'll read the age, the height, the weight, the gender, the race, and through Google, they will send, if you're on your phone, they will send the products that they have on sale based on the way you look. So Carlos walks in there, and they'll have, penny loafers or whatever the fuck this guy buys. And then Josh will walk in there, and he's like, we have basketball shoes. And Adam walks in there, and we have, like, switchblades and guns and all.
That's Walmart, sir. There are no weapons at Target. I've checked.
No, but
The People's Republic supports Walmart.
But they'll scan you, and they'll customize their advertising based on when you walk into their store.
Yeah, and I think that's the direction that we're headed in, and that's what's scary about the technology that we have.
Yeah.
And of Twitter and of all those other things. And I think that location is, you're not going to be able to hide anywhere. I mean, if your phone is on. And I think that's the tool that's going to be used. That's
well, they're already doing it now. That if you walk in with your Wi-Fi on and you connect to a store, they start reading and taking information from you.
Jeez, man.
It's already a fact.
Well,
that's done.
reading,
Scary.
taking, and sending.
What
Because they want to hit you right away. While you're there, they want your phone to ring. They want you to open it up and see that the bath towels are on sale and go buy the bath towels. That's the kind of stuff that they're looking to do. They're looking to get you to impulse buy, and that's the best way to do it.
I mean, when my girlfriend does this, when we walk into Publix or something and we're buying groceries or any food, she'll just get the coupon, like the coupon book when you first walk in there.
Mm-hmm.
She'll grab it, and she's like, okay, we should get this, we should get this. If she gets it to her phone,
right,
it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah, and how much money is Publix going to save? They're not going to have to print that garbage anymore. It's going to go right to your phone as you walk in. That little thing that that little scanner that opens the door as you walk in, that little scanner that opens the door and scans your phone, bango, and it hits you as soon as you walk in. By the time you get to aisle 1, because they route you around like cattle, but by the time you get to that aisle 1, your phone's going to be going ding, 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 buy one, get one free mustard, buy one, get one free this, buy one, get one, and that's what they're going to do.
You know what it was when we played, I think the PSP or whatever kind of games had that you were able to pick up if they were playing the same game, and you'll be able to link up together. I think it was the PSP, where they send out signals to each other. Like, I remember commercials of guys on the subway, and it was like a monster game. One guy's playing it, and then the guy down the the bench is playing it, and there's like reading each other, and they're like, oh, battle, and now it's just for advertising.
Yeah,
which kind of sucks.
Well, welcome to the world.
It kind of sucks. We have the Dolphins, we have Heat, we have Incognito, a lot to get to. Before we get into anything, we have a newcomer here, Josh.
Yes.
Josh is here with us. Josh, you got a new job, dude.
I
want to say congratulations on the job.
Thank you, sir.
Explain to what everyone here is what the job is and how you like it so far.
And have you gone anywhere?
I have not gone anywhere.
Okay.
Into the mic.
I have not gone anywhere.
Okay.
The new job is I'm a paramedic for a private airline company,
Mm-hmm.
and what they do is they go international flights when people are sick or hurt. They call this company and then they call me because I'm on call.
Right.
And within an hour, I'm in the air going somewhere else.
Now that's around the world, meaning what, like Philippines right now?
Yes, if the Philippines calls, we go.
Yeah, but you have to have somebody with money in the Philippines, and Manny Pacquiao's not there. He's in Vegas.
It's actually mainly it's a lot of insurance companies. Like when you go to on a cruise line and they ask you to buy the traveler's insurance, and if you get injured,
for?
yeah, if you get injured on the cruise line, they'll call us.
And that's
We'll
plane
pick
or
you up.
helicopter or what?
Plane
Only?
to get there, and then to get to the patient, if it needs to be another flight, we could take a helicopter or a water plane
Or you can just jump out the plane over the boat.
007 stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, with the bungee cord.
No, you
just
squirrel
pick
suit,
'em up.
squirrel suit, and then immediately pull the chute so you stop right on the Lido deck. Stick the landing.
That'd be badass.
Speaking of jumping out of planes, did you guys see the video of the two skydiving planes that crashed into each other?
No.
I'll show it to you off air. There were these two skydiving planes that were gonna do a stunt together, right? A team of one and a team of two. The planes crashed into each other. One of the planes burst into flames, and the guys get sucked out of the plane. You got to see the video. They get sucked out of the plane, and you see like the guys are falling, and the plane just crashing, like falling down faster than they are. It's scary stuff. And that happened like what, last week, 2 weeks ago? What was it?
Yeah,
It was on the news.
2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, we saw it. I was watching it at the house the other day.
Yeah, it's on the news
This
everywhere.
makes me feel great about my new job. Plane crashes.
Listen, this is
For helicopters.
This is funny too because we have two guys that watch the news and two guys that don't watch the news at all, and my brother and Alex.
I know more about the upcoming PS4 launch than I know about the news.
Which, by the way, self-promotion, tomorrow's the Nerd Table.
Yep.
Tomorrow will be an episode of the Nerd Table, and that's going to be like a 5-hour endeavor.
Oh, my God. And I open on Friday. It's going to suck so bad on Friday.
We opened up already. We are going to go to break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some sports. We got to get to know Josh because Josh he's an interesting sports fan because he used to play basketball, and we have funny stories there. So we're gonna get to the Dolphins incognito, the Heat. Mexico played today, and they won.
They whooped ass, apparently.
Yeah, against those Kiwi bastards. The Knicks are a joke. The Knicks are on the TV right
Oh,
here.
my God. Oh, wait.
The
Did you hear who's on their roster?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
the worst rated player ever recorded.
Oh,
for
my
the
God.
D-League.
It's so wonderful.
So, you know what? We should have gotten Ricky. We'll get Ricky for next week. So don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with all that coming up next.
Wow. That was pretty intense right there.
Wait, he's not over it.
Wait a minute. Sushi?
Bed Bath and Beyond.
What?
That is pure filth. Pure American filth.
I am mildly confused as I listen to it.
I thought it was great.
That is from the movie Team America World Police. It's the same guys that did South Park, that did what's the Broadway show?
Mormons. Book of Mormons.
The Book of Mormons. It's the same guys. They made a puppet movie, like in the 90s or early 2000s, that it was called Team America World Police.
I think I know the movie you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think 3 or 4 people saw it though.
It's hilarious, and that's the theme
He's one of
song.
them. 3 of them are in this room apparently.
That's the theme song to the movie. And when I think of America, that's what I think of. Fuck yeah, America.
America.
So that's what that's the MUR''CA.
America.
America.
There were so many confusing things. Gap was okay.
He's like, slavery.
Yeah, Band-Aids. Sushi. I was waiting for tacos. Tacos was going to be in there too.
They said Taco
they-
Bell.
Oh, okay.
They said Taco Bell. They're like Republicans, and everyone's like, fuck yeah, yeah.
Books. No one said anything.
I could listen to that song over and over. But that was my control. By the way, let's explain what the song choice is for, Theo Carlos. This was your week. I played my song. You played your song. 2 staunch differences. It's still the same country.
And the same concept in a nicer way, but the same concept. Basically, you can do whatever you want in your country. And that came about as we talked. You sent the information. It was my turn to pick theme, and I had a good weekend. It was also Veterans Day weekend.
Yep.
And I partook of a few cold beverages at home, and I had my flag hanging and waving. It was kind of windy, so my flag was all over. So it was very nostalgic, and I figured that this was the avenue to take. So I wanted to go Americana and enjoy myself.
I was really thinking it was going to be the song that you picked or Born in the USA.
No, that was my other option.
That was your other choice?
That'll be the one we play at the end there.
Okay.
If we have one more.
That's fair. Alan, Matt, and Josh, if you guys have one. Well, Alan's supposed to have one.
I've got mine, and mine is the first place winner. Just
more
wait.
than this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be tough to beat, man.
I've got a giant on my side.
Fuck yeah. The Dolphins played, and they're fuck no. The Dolphins lost on Monday Night Football to a team that hadn't won all season. They had their backup quarterback playing. What is it with the backups that the Dolphins cannot beat? They had their backup quarterback playing. They had their backup running back starting, and he got hurt. So then they had a split carry between their 3rd and 4th scrub running backs, and they still rushed for over 100 yards against the front 7, the strongest part of this team. And they looked bad again for the second time on Monday Night Football in front of the national media.
It was an embarrassment. That football team was not ready to play, and they showed it. The first quarter and a half, almost with the the entire first half, with the exception of the last offensive drive that Tannehill put together. The team wasn't ready to play, and it sounds very cliche-ish that they weren't ready to play, but I think that comes down to preparation, and I think it comes down to not only all the nonsense that they were facing and all the questions that they were answering and all the hoopla surrounding the incognito Martin issues, but I think it also had to do with coaching and preparation, and it shows. I think if one thing we've learned in the last 4 or 5 weeks is that not only is there nobody in that locker room that steps up and says, hey, it's time for us to make a change on the way we're playing, or it's time to step up. But I think there's no leadership also in the coaching staff, and I don't think anybody in the coaching staff has got enough resume, enough personality to step in front of that locker room and say, hey, it's time.
Well, let's talk about the game itself. Let's talk about what was your watching, because that's what fascinates me the most, what the watching experience is as a fan. I mean, because I know Alan has one way. I'm watching the game, and they go down 15-0, and they had a safety on a run play. And I'm like, here we go again.
Well, was that not predictable? Because I said it. I told my wife, I was watching the game with her, and I said, in fact, I tweeted it out right before it happened. Why the hell? I don't understand why teams try to run the ball from the 1-foot line. Throw the freaking ball.
Yeah.
They got it to the one yard line or 1 1/4, and then the next time they blew it up and they got a safety.
How did you watch the game, Alan?
Well, I had 2 things going on. One, I kind of am at the point in life where I'm just gonna laugh at the misery,
Mhm.
which is what the Dolphins
Right,
are. They're
right.
misery. So it's probably the most fun I've had watching a game this season, just because it's like watching something out of a Benny Hill skit. And then your nemesis, Christian Diaz, pointed something out that's actually gotten traction in the local media. This go thing, where it's one go, it's gonna be a pass play, two goes, it's gonna be a run play.
Mm-hmm.
So the combination of joy at their misery and everyone listening for go. Oh shit, it was. Which, by the way, it seems like that's a legitimate thing.
I sent a text to Carlos. Each run play, they were jumping the snap.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
whole left side.
because they're waiting for a second go. I don't remember if it's one or two, but they're calling it out before the play happens.
Right.
They run on one go or two goes, and they pass on the opposite one. And he mentioned it. You know, we were like, okay, Christian says that is. You know, maybe he thought that happened one game, and we were watching.
And it happened.
It happened every fucking time.
Yeah.
And it is like it's local newspapers are now starting. And apparently they asked Philbin about it. He says it's not a big deal.
Philbin.
Nothing's a big deal to that man. Nothing is a big deal to that man.
I have a shameful admission. I was gonna do this for the nerd table tomorrow, but I'm gonna do it here for the sports table. The Finsiders have. Well, yeah, I'll get to that later. The Finsiders have a chat, okay, that they do during the show. The Finsiders is here on 940 Wins. They go 5 to 7. They have a live chat during the show that the fans get to interact, whatever. I troll them. I go on as Papa Palpatine, which is a Robot Chicken character based off the.
And you do that what on Twitter?
No, I do it on their chat. They have like the
Oh, the chat
Finsiders
room?
chat room, and I basically just troll them, you know, and they're like, "Oh, what's Ryan Tannehill gonna look like against the Chargers?" And I'm like, "How are we gonna destroy the Rebel Alliance?" You know, like that's how I'm doing. I'm complete, and they get angry at me. They're going, Papa Palpatine, just get out of here. This is Dolphin talk, and I'm responding to them saying, "Let the anger flow through you." You know, it makes you focused. like that's what I'm doing to them, and they're getting angry. And then I had a coworker here at work. He saw what I was doing, and he went on as Yoda, please. So he would go on as Yoda saying, "Dolphins balls, they suck." You know what I mean? And I'm like, who let this guy? Like, it's going back and forth, back and forth. The team is a joke. Basically, is what I'm getting to. The team is a joke. I'm watching the game, and I'm rooting against the Dolphins. I'm rooting for the loss. Towards the end of the game, I'm rooting towards the loss. Because when they went up, I'm like, no, man, they're supposed to.
No, they didn't deserve that shit. They deserve to be blown the fuck out.
Yeah. It looked bad. It looked bad from the beginning. They go 0-15, then they go on a little run, and then they lost it again. With 3 minutes to go in the end of the game, you can't kick a field goal?
No.
You have all your timeouts.
No, and then you have you got a guy that fair catches the ball on the 3.5, 4 yard line,
Oh,
4.5
God.
yard
I
line.
thought of you when that happened.
And then you got Wheeler who decides he's going to man up at one point and punch somebody in the head deep in the fourth quarter and get a 15-yard penalty.
Unbelievable.
This is how bad it's gotten. I'm reading a children's book right now. I'm reading Michael Vey, which is about electric kids, and it's very juvenile. But
Why are you doing that?
I bought it for Anthony. He didn't read it yet, and Alexander read it, and she liked it, and so I picked it up. And
Okay.
and I like reading at night, and I don't have another book right now, so I'm reading it. It's like 600 pages. It's a huge. It's
600 pages.
Because it's a double book. It's book 1 and 2 together.
I thought it was like literally a children's book where he's sitting. Big Carlos is sitting on like a little chair that's like shaped of a bunny.
A little stool.
It's not far from that. Point is, I'm watching the game and I said, you know what? It's a fourth quarter. Tampa got the ball with like 8 minutes to go. It's still a 15-16 game. And I turned off the television.
You did.
I turned off the television. I said, I'm going to read my Michael Vey book. I laid down. I read the book for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Went and got some water, hit the internet. Oh, they lost. Turned it off. Not surprised because I knew they were going to.
Yeah.
I really felt that they would lose, and I had no interest in putting myself through that and then trying to get to bed at that point.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been not very productive.
Yesterday or on Monday was the game. This was the game where the season for me is over. Even if they win against the Chargers and if they win and they're in the wild card hunt, for me the season's over. That's how much, not this loss, but this whole season has gone for me, just on a downward slope. I started off semi-enthusiastic, and now I'm back to where I've always been.
Sucker.
I'm just completely indifferent about this team. I just kind of hope that they are going to continue to suck so we can get a high draft choice, but we're not going to. It's going to be, again, 10 to 15. We've seen this season
Time and again.
They're going to fire the head coach. They're going to fire the general manager. They're going to get rid of the quarterback. It's going to be another 3 years of just the same thing that we've seen over and over and over again.
And you guys question my lack of emotional investment. Ha! I'm having a more fun season than either one of you.
I question your lack of emotional investment in things like a car accident or something. Like, you have no emotional investment in anything at all. Yeah,
Life.
Music, food. Like, there's that's what I question. For the Dolphins, I don't care.
You guys were like, why don't you believe a little bit? I'm a little bit more excited.
I did say I was. A little bit more
and you're
excited.
a sucker.
And
I've got a decade of this shit under my belt.
I'm biting it now. And the thing is, it was Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill was the hope for me. He was the one that's holding the lightsaber, and Princess Leia's draped on his leg. Like, he was the new hope for me. And he's Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Like, he can't hit. This guy is running a down. He's running a go route down the sideline. He's wide open. Theo Carlos, there was no pressure.
Listen,
he moved around in the pocket. He had time.
You said it at some point early in the year, and I think you said it more in jest than anything else, that right now he is Henny.
I didn't say it was Henny. Henny.
You made reference to the comparison.
I feel like that was a George comment.
I don't think I ever compared him to Henny.
Okay.
Henny was terrible, man.
Do you realize that their numbers are extremely comparable?
Really?
Yeah, but
extremely now, I'll give you Henny had a better running game. I'll give you he had a much better offensive line.
I don't think better running game describes it. When the Dolphins barely ran as much as my brother is tall.
and he had Brandon Marshall for a year. But nonetheless, their numbers are comparable. That's what scares me, that their numbers are comparable. And I just mentioned Brandon Marshall. That's a beautiful segue to Mike Wallace.
That's what you wanted.
Well, Mike Wallace, he's down the go route. He gets missed, but then he drops passes.
Who's Donald Penn?
I don't know. Who is that?
Donald Penn has one touchdown pass.
Oh, wait. I know this one. I know the best touchdown of the game.
Is that the
Fat guy touchdown?
Yeah.
Fat guy touchdown.
Fat guy touchdown. He's got one for the year. How many does Mike Wallace have?
One.
Offensive tackle has one touchdown. Mike Wallace has one touchdown.
Fat guy touchdown. Woo!
He got up there and he dunked the ball.
No, he did not.
Yeah,
he did not.
He got up
no. That ball flew over the top. He just slammed the thing. I was watching because I was into it. No, he not getting wrist over.
He got the wrist
it was
over.
all palm.
I think I'm gonna give it to him.
Hey,
I think he got it.
He got like a tennis ball dunk, and not a real man's dunk,
Right,
which is very
I'll consider
impressive.
that.
Very impressive for a 350-pound man. But still, don't be giving me that bullshit.
The very thought that we're even having this conversation is the sad part. It's the sad part. Devon Bess and Hobson, the Dobson, the kid, the new receiver for the Patriots.
Okay.
And Mike Wallace are 1, 2, and 3 in that order. Mike Wallace, Dobson, and Devon Bess in the NFL in drop passes.
I've got a stat for you, Mike Wallace fan. Out of all receivers with 60 targets or more, who do you think has the lowest catch rate?
That would be Mike Wallace.
At 51%.
Yeah.
Do you know what Rashad Matthews is at? 71.
He's got to be high, yeah.
For 30, half the targets, around 30, he's at 71% catch rate.
Well, he had himself a game.
Ugh.
He had himself a game, 11
How fast did he
receptions.
disappear on fantasy because of that game.
11 receptions, 120 yards receiving, and 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill looked good and he looked bad. Ryan Tannehill, to me, I'm going to look at his stats right now, what it is for the regular season. He doesn't have those games where you're like, okay, this guy's got it. The 3 touchdown, 300-yard games. He's had that once. I think it was against Arizona last year. Like, he hasn't had those games where he's consistently separating himself or it looks like he's progressing. He just looks the same. He looks the same way.
Yeah.
He's got 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and 2,200 yards with a passer rating of 81.
The thing is that
It's so bogey.
it's hard. It is hard to judge. Like we're comparing him to Henny. Henny had a solid O-line. Henny had 2 running backs that could at least average 2.5 per carry. Not 2 running backs that combine 2.5 per game.
Right. Right.
And there was a little bit better. We can argue Fasano, for all that we hated him, kind of missed that guy. Henny kind of had that guy.
Yeah, I'll say that too.
So the support structure is really different between the two, but the numbers are very similar, which is terrifying.
I get the support structure. I get the lack of talent offensively. There's 2 things that'll go against that argument that Henny had. First of all, Tannehill's got to go. Henny was strung back. Dan Henning wouldn't let him throw the ball. They wouldn't even let him change the play at the line of scrimmage.
That's true.
Ryan Tannehill has to go because this is the exact same offense that he had in college.
But that go he has means run.
Right.
2 goes means pass.
True.
Like talk about the things that are trying to help him. You're now giving a guy with no O-line a complete and obvious tell what he's going to do.
It's not just that. It's when Ryan Tannehill has room to run, he doesn't run. When Ryan Tannehill has time to throw the ball, he holds on to it.
That has been an odd thing where an athlete of his caliber doesn't kind of just go. He never. I don't understand the thought process. I don't know if he's trying to prove he's a pocket guy, but he's had open areas. One play, I think he threw,
against Tampa.
Yeah, that he had the entire. All he had to go was
he could have
drift
scored
forward
the
and
touchdown.
gone left.
Yeah,
right in the goal in the red zone, and he did nothing.
Nothing.
He decided to try to pass it. I don't know if that's the coaching above him. I don't know if he's that terrified that wherever that line is trying to block, it's gonna fail and he's gonna get raped from behind. I don't know.
He's been getting that anyway.
So, how terrifying is it? All this happens and you're losing 2 starting linemen. You're implanting Claypool back in the lineup.
Oh,
and I feel like the defense is wait for the 4th quarter to start, betting on that go stuff. Because every 4th quarter, someone runs 5 yards and takes a right angle right into his face.
Mm-hmm.
It happened again.
Yeah, the sacks late in the game.
Yeah, it happened again.
Yeah.
People just literally running out routes into the quarterback.
It's just a joke, Theo. For me, well, before let me get to you because I know you're gonna go on for a while. Josh, how many games have you watched this season? How many?
Cricket.
Not too many.
Not too many. When you think of the Dolphins now or in the past or anything, what are just like word association? You think Miami Dolphins? What do you think?
I mean, from hearing you guys talk all the time about it, I'm kind of glad that I'm not too emotionally invested into the
smart.
organization.
How do you feel about our senior generation and all their emotion and investment and care compared to what you've lived through?
I feel bad, honestly.
It's the truth. This is a constant argument we have on the show between George and Carlos and myself and Alan, that this team, all I know is 7-9 and loss and just misery, and indifference, really.
I mean, we've never seen them really too.
You know what it would
successful,
equate to? You know what it would equate to if the Heat win 37 and 51 this year.
If they went 37,
if the Heat won 37 games this year, that's how you would feel.
Okay.
That's how you would feel.
No, because there has to be some form of nuclear explosion for that to happen.
I don't even think that's possible, but I'm just saying.
But no, we get like if we've been invested now and then later on, generations only know 500 ball clubs and they don't understand why we care.
You can
we
say
understand.
I was there when they had LeBron. I was there when we won 3 out of 4.
It still stings me. People forget, but that the Heat won only 15 games. That I still
too long ago.
I still remember that.
Yeah, I do too. The thing is, I remember it as a complete collapse. Like people hurt. Chalmers in charge. Like I understand why it got there.
But it was 1 on 5 basically every night.
But that was before Chalmers got there. That was the Ricky Davis, Sean Marion, because we drafted Beasley at the end of that season.
Yeah, Ricky Davis.
Yeah, that was all about Dwayne Wade.
Ricky Davis.
Right.
Oh.
Wade got hurt. They benched him. They sat Haslam. Like I remember that season. So I get it. But this is already beyond that kind of pain, Theo. This has been. It's deja vu. I'm
Think about it like
Matrix.
this: the text you sent out with the Wanstash sighting, that's the highlight of our Dolphin memory.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
As
sad thing.
boring Fiedler and Juan
Field
Stash
goal.
trying to kill Ricky Williams, one run at a time.
It's funny. Did you see Jason Taylor? Did you see, by the way, they kept showing Stephen Ross, and they had Jason Taylor next to him, and who's the black guy?
Not more.
Nat Moore
I was
next to
gonna say
him.
Jason Taylor.
No, he was behind him. But that they're all, I feel like they want to laugh, but they're all uncomfortable around Stephen Ross because he's just there, just like.
Well, I
what the
mean,
hell am I
Nat
gonna
Moore's
do?
gone from a halftime analyst to vice president of our football operations in like less than a year.
Right.
By the
So-
way, Carlos, did you know who was missing from that skybox?
Who's
Your
that?
boy Jeffrey. You know where he was? In the media box. Banished to parts unknown.
We're gonna
Away.
we're gonna talk about Jeffrey Ireland. He was not mentioned at all in any of the interviews that he had with Ross.
At one interview, he was. There was a one sentence only when he spoke to Tirico. And I know it's fact because I tweeted right after that. When he said that he's going to be looking into it and all decisions will come after he speaks to all parties concerned, and
Right.
and that includes Ireland and Philbin.
Jeff Ireland, I even said this in the chat as a trolling the Dolphins.
I
guy.
gotta get into that trolling thing.
Yeah,
I think
man,
that could be fun.
It is really fun. I was like,
Can you do it as Sauron and only speak in Old English?
I could do that.
I like it.
I was saying that I would write. Has anyone seen Ireland? I'll just get my boy to get him #Baba. You know what I mean? Like that's what I would do because Jeff Ireland's been missing.
Wait, who?
Boba Fett. Well, that's what they read it out.
Boba Fett? Where?
They have so many flaws with this team. I just want to get into the game itself, the actual game, and then in the next segment I want to get into
flaws.
into the peripheral, franchise, just stinkery that this is.
Well, you got to get into flaws because flaws dictates that this is a 2 or 3 year thing. It just does.
But the Dolphins lose again. Just how do you feel? The Dolphins lose again on Monday Night Football, man, and they get crushed against the Saints. And you're like, okay, the Saints are good at home. It was week 3? No, week 4. It was the first loss that they had. And then, it's okay, not many people win in New Orleans. Then you go on the road to Tampa. That team has not won a game. Now, I know they've had close calls with, what are you looking at? They had close calls with, what are you looking at?
Veteranos. They're walking around. Ricky's still out there, and they're walking around.
Enrique, they lost to an 0-8 team. Mike Glenning is your quarterback. He had 139 yards and 1 touchdown.
By the way, doesn't that guy look like he works in the IT department?
Who didn't they beat us with 108-yard passing the other day?
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago. I mean, that's what's happening to this team. It's not a matter of how many yards they're getting on you or whether they're running it or throwing it on you. It's just that there's one collapse after another collapse after another collapse every single week. Every single week. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no excuse for what's happening.
Nah.
You don't lose to Tampa Bay. You
doesn't.
don't. They do not have an offensive system or offensive talent to be able to move the football on this defense, no matter how badly this defense is playing. They don't have the players to do that.
Mm-hmm.
On defense, they're okay. And the more I saw them, the more I thought that they were okay. And they're not bad. Their defensive backfield with Golston and Revis is pretty good. They got that rookie on the other side. They got a couple of nice linebackers. Number 54, David, is a pretty nice linebacker. Their pass rush is mediocre. Even with the pathetic offensive line,
Right.
they couldn't
They
get to
didn't even get to
Tannehill
him.
to the end of the game.
Right.
And again, that collapse at the end of the game again.
Yeah. The rushing attack, Lamar Miller averaged 0.3 yards.
Inches.
Yeah, he had 0.3.
The Dolphins had 5 inches per rush.
5 inch. Ryan Tannehill led the attack with 2 yards.
That's it. They had 2 yards rushing.
And that's not
officially.
including what should have been a bigger number subtracted for that safety because they only subtracted 1.
Right.
It was like 5 yards.
Yeah, but
into
that's all
the
that you
end
do.
zone.
You just give that one. It's in
No,
the
I
end
know,
zone.
but just in consideration, it could have been worse.
Technically, it was a 4-yard loss.
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me why Daniel Thomas is on an NFL roster? Explain. What does he do? What does he do? He doesn't run. He doesn't block. He doesn't catch. He fumbles and he gets concussions.
He gets Cam Wake Sports Brawl for him.
Well,
What is that? Cam Wake has got to be such a douchebag. I see in the warm-ups, he's the only guy with his shirt above his stomach,
it's
and he's just running around.
They're so much better that his undershirt, the tight like Under Armour shirt, is exactly that height. Also, it's literally a sports bra.
Oh my God, man!
You realize that if you go down to the Dolphins roster, most of the people from last year's draft are there, and most of the guys from this year's draft, all the guys from this year's draft are there. That's scary.
I didn't see Deion
But
Jordan.
no, here's the point. I'm going to
On the bench.
I'm going to kind of move over into that transition into that part.
Yeah.
We drafted 9 players this year. They're all on the roster. How many plays did those 9 draft choices contribute on Monday? How many plays did those 9 players contribute?
I can't even think.
In total. In total.
Right.
Between every one of 1 through 9.
Sims, yeah.
Sims and Jordan and the kicker, and how many plays did they contribute?
I don't know, maybe like 6.
9. 9 plays.
That's unbelievable, man.
9 plays.
That's unbelievable. And this was the draft for him.
None of the draft. This was the game you had to win.
Yeah.
You had to win this game to stay relevant in this hunt.
Right.
Which I don't want to be relevant in a hunt because all that means is you're mediocre or below.
Right.
But to be relevant and have a shot, or at least be considered nationally to have a shot, you had to win this game. How do you not play your number 3 player, the one you moved up to draft?
Where is he?
Where the hell is he? Where are the 2 corners that you drafted? They're still hurt?
Yeah.
Why would you draft hurt guys?
It's a joke, man. It's been a joke. And
So you're not firing Ireland for the mishap and the destruction and all the crap that's gone in the locker room this year. That's not the reason to fire Ireland. You fire Ireland because of what's happening on the field, what these players are producing, the talent that he's put in that locker room.
Yeah.
Not the personalities,
Right.
the talent or lack thereof.
I've been having arguments here at work. People are saying Jeff Ireland has to get fired for what's been going on with Martin, and
Hell no.
he's got to get fired because he's just not good at his job.
Exactly. He doesn't draft well. He doesn't talent evaluate well. He doesn't make the good decisions. That just doesn't happen.
He makes people hate him.
He does that very well.
Yeah. Sage Rosenfeld, happy guy, apparently hates him after like 2 weeks.
Defoe's show, you listen to it. He came on the show when I was here with Defoe. He said he's the worst general manager he's ever been a part of.
Yeah, and he even said like, I've been cut. I've been everything traded. No GM has ever agitated me. And within an hour, this guy apparently knew that everyone in the locker room hated Jeff Ireland. And apparently the way they cut him was such a way that he's like, you know what? You're a dick. I don't like you.
Well, that makes Ross look like Mr. Magoo.
It does. He for such a brilliant man as he is, he has to be.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
he's been
has
voted
to.
in New
That's
York.
what I keep saying. That's what I keep saying. I'm like, he's got to be smart. He has to be smart.
You
'cause
can't
he has
fall
the
into
team.
that kind of money, and the team is like, just toys for him. But he was voted most influential real estate mogul in New York City the last couple of years. So I mean, this guy knows something. It's not football, but he knows something. So why? His problem is not the fact that he won't pay, because I guess he'll pay anybody anything. Just find the right person to do the job.
Right.
And now can you actually fire Jeff Ireland and keep Philbin?
Well, Philbin's going to get fired if he hires a new GM anyway. So
Exactly, but it's not going to happen this year. It'll happen next year, which means now we're starting over again next year. So it's another 4-12 season followed up by. Come on, man, you got to get rid of both of them now. When you got cancer, you cut it off. Choom. In The Walking Dead, what do you do in The Walking Dead?
Josh, medical term, choom.
Choom.
Yeah, it's in
The
the
Walking
books, it's in
Dead,
the books.
the zombie bites your arm, you cut it at the
Hey,
elbow.
Herschel been
Done.
rocking a very nice metal leg because of that stuff. Man.
Exactly.
But
Herschel's
Wait a
perfect
second.
still
example.
alive, though.
We all watch
So,
Walking
yeah.
Dead? Do we all watch Walking Dead?
Yeah, we just segued right into
I
it.
feel a Walking Dead segment later on in the
I'm
show.
okay with
We
that.
just segued right into it.
We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. I want to get into just crushing this front office. I said it last week when we were talking about the bullying that they're the most at fault more than Jonathan Martin or Incognito.
Yes, they are.
And I feel like the evidence is going to support that.
And I think that Allen needs to cut it up, make little portions of it, and we can start sending it out all over the place.
So
Get it to the public.
we're going to go to break. We'll come back. We'll get into just ramming this Dolphins team like they ram our hearts.
There you go.
Fuck yeah!
Rookie! We'll put them on. We'll start sending them all over the Richie, are you there? Richie,
How dare thy beckon me, rookie?
I need help.
Shit your face.
I can't find my shoes. Richie.
Shit your shoes too.
Can we go to lunch?
Ass burn you.
I'm hungry.
If you want hunger, I shall feed you a sausage of incognito proportions. Ha ha ha.
Stop being so mean.
I'm not being mean. I'm making a man out of you. Someone play that Mulan song. Be a man. Ha ha ha.
I'm gonna tell my dad.
You tell your dad, and I'll tell mine on the Finsiders posting thing. Him and Palpatine have been fighting for weeks. Ha ha ha.
My mommy and daddy are lawyers.
I don't give a shit about your dog.
Bonus segment. Listen, it's just me, Matt, and Alan here. He has Pokemon. You have Pokemon. I want Pokemon. How do I get it?
What do you mean? Like you want an emulator on your phone?
I just want to play the game.
Okay. Tomorrow on the Nerd Table, Eebs, the expert on emulators on his phone, was played, I think, like 3 different Pokemon games on his phone. He'll get you.
Yeah.
Is that the new way of getting it? I don't have, because I was gonna go on like eBay and buy a 2DS.
Well, if you have a 2DS, you play on a 2DS. If you don't,
Is it
I
better
have
to
a
get the
DS.
emulator because it's free? But I don't want it to be jailbreak my phone and I can't
Well,
It's
return
not
it.
okay, okay.
jailbreaking though.
if you have an emulator, you cannot trade. So, for instance, you're not going to get an Alakazam.
Oh man, or a Gengar.
And if there are events, like all the people that did X and Y, they all got a Torchic for free.
Oh.
Torchic's not supposed to be in the game. Torchic is in the game because of a special event at the beginning.
Mhm.
You cannot get that because you're not connected to any network
No.
because you don't actually have a game. Although you could probably generate codes for it. Good luck with that.
don't
I
wanna
have
do
no
that.
such knowledge.
I don't want to do that. So it's
I
probably
would-
just best to get the game.
Yeah, then
No,
you can trade with people.
I was told the one that I have, you could do it by Wi-Fi. Like if you have the
Trade?
same Wi-Fi, yeah. Like you go to the same thing. Like if you're gonna battle and you do the same thing. Like
Well,
you,
you
can
do
battle and
that.
stuff
You do that, and then you tell me because I
Yeah.
want to see if that works first. All right.
I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
Coming in off the ring, brother. If you don't know, brother, when it's time to be American, the Hulkster, he's gonna come in, he's gonna wreck your place, and he's going wild on your candy ass. Ooh.
He just went Hulkster Dwayne Johnson.
Candy ass got adopted by everybody by the end.
Who did he go? What was the the Middle Eastern guy that he would go up against?
Oh, the Iron Sheik.
The Iron Sheik.
I will make you humble.
This is pretty American.
That's right. Ain't nothing more American than wrestling. Pro wrestling.
All right, chill out, Bomani Jones. That was a pretty good one though.
Yeah, I like that.
Hey, why isn't it still playing? What's going on here?
Oh, you want to hear the whole
Yeah,
thing?
yeah,
It's
through the
like
whole
3
segment.
minutes.
Throw the whole segment. Let's do it.
What's okay? Let's just have a word off. Ready? Name something more American than the last one. I'm gonna start off with a hot dog. What's more American than a hot dog?
Meat.
Yeah, because hot dog ain't meat, so. Josh, what's more American than meat?
Guns.
Hey, that's pretty good. What's more American than guns?
The American flag.
I don't know. I think guns are more American than that. I'm gonna go with plastic surgery. I think that's more American than guns.
Nah, bro, that's South American.
No, that's American.
That's Venezuela, bro.
Carlos, is that more American than guns?
Depends on what plastic surgery you're talking about.
Yeah.
Ah,
Because guns are everywhere. I think guns could be Soviet too.
all right.
What's more American than plastic surgery?
Camouflage clothes with a gun, eating a half pound of meat,
That's not fair.
covered in cheese, dipped in barbecue sauce. I win.
you just described an episode of Duck Dynasty.
That's such a funny show.
What's more American than Honey Boo Boo?
I think Honey Boo Boo is America. that's quintessential America right there.
You know what's sad? I think their mom's literally like really a hut. I'm pretty sure she's a hut. That thumb-looking lady. Oh my God.
The big toe.
Yeah, she looks like a big toe with arms and legs.
You know what's funny? So in the 1940s is I Want You, you know, and then after that was like the pinup dolls, and then it was Peace and Love in the 70s. I'm just talking about like Americana.
Right.
And then what was it in the 80s? I don't remember what the 80s was. And just flash forward to nowadays, it's Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo
It's,
represents America.
It's Pawn Stars.
Oy.
That's
Wow.
what America is. America.
America.
Your America is different than my America.
Yeah, it
And
is.
Matt's America is different than my America.
I feel like it's becoming less like you're more proud of your America. We're about the middle. By the time Matt gets to the mid-20s,
You'll be spitting on America.
he's gonna become a Taoist like you think I am.
I don't know. My backyard's very American.
Your backyard is American.
That's where America lives.
Is there such thing as too much America?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
xenophobia.
if you're touting too much, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place.
Do you have examples of when you've seen someone be too much America? Or have you seen or heard on TV or something
it
where
like?
there's too much America? Because you said yes, Josh. What's the example that
I
came
mean,
to your mind?
I would think if someone goes to a foreign country and just starts chanting USA, that's pretty douchey.
Screw your croutons, USA, USA.
Or you're looking to be kidnapped and held for ransom.
Yeah, Liam Neeson ain't
Or
saving
just
you.
put human trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, if I leave this country, it'll be with a big Canadian sticker on my bag, and I'll be wearing a Canadian flag on my shirt or something.
You're gonna add A to the end of every
Hey,
sound.
ain't nobody gonna know I was from this place.
A.
What accent was that?
I don't know, but
That was
What accent
Texas.
was
That
But
was
it's gonna
Texas,
change.
man.
That was Texas and it ended Jamaican. I don't know. That was
I
weird.
might end up being from.
That's
Jamaica.
right, man. A.
Hey,
I think it's pretty American when you go to another country and go, who speaks English here?
Nah, man. The first time I left this country, the first thing I did, because it was in Italy, I just tried Spanish.
Yeah.
And the guy just kind of nodded his head and gave me my slice of pizza. And I was, don't try English. Don't try. It's one of the worst languages on the planet.
Did he have a big burly mustache too? I mean, what do you?
I feel like he had if I remember right, he had the sideburns. He didn't have the mustache.
He had
I think Rome avoids those stereotypes. Had I gone to like Florence, maybe.
He had the sideburns and adultery. What's
No, that was
okay,
Venice.
Let's talk about this Veterans Day. I don't want to make light of Veterans Day and America, but it's funny to poke fun at ourselves. What is the biggest stereotype that's true about the United States?
We're fat.
That's pretty true.
I
We
mean,
have more heart disease in our country than I think the globe.
problems of the first world, baby.
Problems of the first world. What's a stereotype that's true about the United States?
arrogance.
Arrogance is another one.
I think arrogance is a big one. I think that puts us in a different category when the rest of the world looks at us.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, it's violence. Like I feel like we have more violence in the country because everyone thinks that we have guns and we shoot things. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much true. There's guns everywhere. When the
I'm
when
gonna
the
throw this out there.
blind are applying.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
And not applying, but getting permits
Getting
to carry
permits
weapons.
to
Look,
carry
look.
weapons.
Wait, that's serious?
You're
Yeah,
trying.
yes,
You're
in
trying
Idaho.
to say we're more violent than Russia.
Yes.
It's literally impossible when tanks are driving over streets and it's Russia.
But they're not firing. They're not firing. Like there was
And
a,
that's government. That's government. If we want to, I mean, there are many countries that are much more violent than our country, and a lot of them in Africa, a lot of the
South
the
America.
places, South America, and there's a lot.
Uganda,
I would
with
say
the
the
eat the
majority
poo-poo.
are more violent than our government, and what makes us different is our people.
Yeah.
Our people are armed, and our people are not scared to use their arms if they have to use them. I think that the threat of violence and violence that actually happens in our country by those few psychopaths, I think that's a valid statement.
and just another last thing for me. We're like more Americans are in prison than any other country in the world. Like
Yeah.
everyone's in
That's how we
jail
resolve
here.
everything.
Everyone's in jail in this country.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we do
They're
have
privatizing jails. That's terrible.
we have a lot of trivial laws, and we're trying. But I think that's a byproduct of having a civilized society. I mean, there aren't many people in jail in Somalia. There
Right.
aren't.
Well, there's not many jails in Somalia. I don't
Exactly,
think.
and it's,
Also, anyone who does something wrong tends to lose a limb or their head.
or die. I mean, so we're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place when you're trying to have a civilized society and trying to have individuals abide by specific laws, and then you apply those laws. Where are you going to put these guys? Are you going to punish them or not? If you're going to have a law, you're going to have to apply the law. If you apply the law, you got to punish somebody. How are you going to punish them? So yeah, there are a lot of people that are in jail for smoking dope. I mean, once they legalize pot throughout the nation,
Which will
that's
happen.
that's 5-10 years away at the most, nationwide. Which is now that's going to empty the jails out by probably 15% because that's the majority of stuff. Now we still got to worry about trafficking. There are a lot of little things that are. If you start looking at books, I mean, sodomy is still illegal in I think 24 states out of in our country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we're not talking about sodomy as far as rape goes. We're talking about sodomy in your bedroom as far as man and wife goes.
Right.
That's still illegal.
Really?
So, yeah. So it's illegal as close as Georgia.
Oh my God.
So
These Georgians.
I don't know why I know that.
Yeah. No.
I'm sure it
He's
came
like-
up on funny laws.
States not to live in. There's like 24 X marks.
I
on
don't
his
know why,
map.
but still, we have a lot of trivial, stupid laws that are on the books, and they've been on the books since the early 20s and 30s, and that's a big deal that we've never gone back and used the legislature to clean up those laws.
I'll tell you this. I had a conversation just to continue on the the topic of America. I had a conversation with my friend. His name is Michael Gretchy. He actually works over there on 610. He's there now. I was talking. His parents were from Jamaica and Italy. My parents are from Cuba, and we were talking about our stories and where we came from, our backgrounds. I told him a few of my grandfather's stories and how we came over to this country, and then I said we started talking about the system of the United States, in regards to economics or healthcare, whatever. That there are certain systems that are failing us, the people, that they're failing us. And Carlos, I know, is going to jump in. The biggest problem that I have with this country, more than healthcare, more than 2 unfunded wars, more than drugs or guns, the biggest problem I have with this country is now it's harder for me to reach the American dream than it was for my grandfather. If I were to come to this country from Cuba now, it's harder for me to move up to the middle class, even to try to get rich, than it was back then. My grandfather came from this country, washed dishes, was working in factories, but he made a life here, not knowing anybody in any language. He made a life here, and now for me, I'm a U.S. citizen. All I see that are available are part-time jobs or low-rated jobs without benefits, and the cost of living is so high. I can't afford. I can't support myself. I can't. If I want to get those jobs, or if I want to move up into the next tax bracket, it's gonna kill me. I'm not gonna be able to get a job, and that for me is the biggest problem in this country. That the gap from rich and poor is so wide that for me, poor person, to jump into that rich, it's harder than it's ever been.
Yeah, but not even rich. Just from poor to low middle class. That leap doesn't happen now at 24, 25. Because I went from, poor to that middle class by 24, 25.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take you almost to 30, 32, 34 years old, unfortunately. And that's the honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you got a good job now away from here and you started off at 12, 13 bucks an hour, by the time you got to 24, 25, 26 bucks an hour, which would put you in that close to being low middle class, that's going to be years away.
Right.
So, yeah, that gap exists. And now it's more, who do you know? How do you get there? And you got to be lucky as hell, whether you got an education or not. You got to be lucky, and you got to know somebody to get into that spot. It's really, really difficult. There are so many people competing for these jobs, and one of the things that we've done as an open society is we've hurt our own. the ones that have been born within the walls of this country, because now there are people from all parts of the world. You no longer apply for a job, as you know, Josh. You're looking for a job, and yourself, Christopher. You no longer apply for a job just here. And if you're applying for a job here, there are probably 100 applicants, and I guarantee you 25 to 30% of those don't live in Florida.
Right.
And maybe 10% of those don't even live in the country, because now we're worldwide. So you're applying all over the place, man. It's a very daunting task, and something that politically, I think, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, I think that both sides of the aisle have completely let the American people down in the way that that we've been doing business in Washington, which is a direct reflection of how business is done in the rest of the country.
For you guys, I'm going to ask you and Alan, Josh and Alan, what you guys think. The American dream for me, the way that I remember seeing in videos, it used to be you get a job, full-time job, you get a wife, you get married, white picket fence, 2 kids, retire and die. What's the American dream now for us?
Being able to leave the house.
That's the American dream?
Yeah, because I
not coming back.
Yeah. No, being fully self-sustaining away, being able to live somewhere alone, and being able to sustain all your needs, any bills that come in, all that stuff. At this point, and granted, I've had some poor choices along the way.
We all have.
Yeah, I don't know how long that could even take. Forget the idea of once I get there. I don't know how old I'm going to be. I have no idea if I'll even be able to make enough to start saving for retirement.
Right.
Like, there's no I can't conceive of when I can just be like, okay, done,
Right.
gonna lay back, send me my my little check I don't know. There's no way to even forecast it at this point. Whereas before, you kind of knew at around 60, 65, maybe you retire if you've done well, 70 if you haven't. But
Right.
you'll be able at 20, 22 to get out the house and live your life. It's really hard right now. Damn near impossible. Every time we do want to call this a segment, it's just more depressing
Yeah.
of you're stuck at your mom's house.
Well,
There's
I'm very proud of the fact that I work if I want to work. Your aunt is a little bit more embarrassed about that.
About yourself or herself?
About both of us that were retired.
Really?
She doesn't when people say what she does, she doesn't say she's retired.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing for her to say that at her age she's retired. And I keep telling her why. We've been lucky, we've been smart, and we've earned it.
Yeah, you work hard.
So nobody, you should never feel bad that you're telling anybody that you're retired at 48, 49, 50 years old. It doesn't matter. But I can see, and I can feel it sometimes. It's almost a little bit of guilt on my part when I'm looking at the landscape and seeing what's happening in our country. That's no more a reality. Looking at how contracts are structured, how municipal government and local and county government is structured now, you're not going to be able to retire for 30, 35 years. Those pension programs, not only are they being eliminated from city programs and they're going to a self-funded pensions, 401ks, 403s, but it's also going to take you 30, 35 years to get there, and it's only going to be a fraction of what it was before. So even then, it's going to be very, very difficult for someone to do that. When you get out there now, you have to start planning yourself, and that's, the only advice that I could ever give, anyone like you guys at your ages now is when you get a job and you're making $20,000 to $25,000 a year, you must generate that money and make sure that $250 a month to $300 a month doesn't exist. Doesn't matter if you can't buy a car. It doesn't exist. That needs to go into a 401k for your retirement, because that $250 a month for the next 20 years will retire you at a certain time, and you'll be able to retire. But if you don't do that and you don't sacrifice it and keep saying, I'll do it later, I'll catch up in 2 years, I'll catch up in 5 years, that's going to kill you.
Josh, what for you is the American dream?
I'd agree with you.
Really?
Yeah, wife, kids, family.
Oh
good-
no,
good
but
paying job.
that's what I said. It used to be.
No, I mean
think
that's what I
you
think.
still
it is.
think it's
yeah.
this, you still think it's the same
Yeah.
thing.
I would. I mean,
optimism, optimism
it
of the
might-
young, Chris.
it-
Optimism of the young.
It might not be as easy as it used to, but I still think that's the dream.
You
and
still
that's
think-
what you still strive for.
Okay. See, I don't think that. I think when kids are growing up, they're not growing up to get married. I mean, like when daughters, I mean, now of feminism and people adjust and, people were more advanced, more modern. I get that. But when you're growing up and when you're in college, you're like, man, I can't wait to get this job so I can get this girl and then get this house and get married. I don't think people are thinking that now. I feel for me personally, the American dream is getting into that next level, is getting to that Romney level. I think everyone's striving to get to that rich bracket, and they'll do anything to get there. I mean, there's less marriages and more divorce rates. There's less unions. There's less. The population birth rate is dropping down. People are not getting together as much as they used to. I feel like people are just constantly striving to get that dough, to get that money. I mean, look at Wheezy, young man.
Please don't mention a goblin on this show.
Are you saying that the idea or the institution of marriage or looking to that is now secondary or tertiary to the money? The money's the goal?
I think it might not be the majority, but it's a big group.
Because I think that technology itself plays a key role in this. And I think it plays a key role in that. I think with social media, individuals like you guys in your early 20s are much more social. And I think that social environment, the way it's run now, lends itself to less commitment than it did in the past,
right?
Because you've got more contact with more people more often. So you don't have that exclusivity of being alone with that person like you did before. If you're alone with your girlfriend now, you might get a text, somebody might tweet you, so you're gonna be getting hit all the time.
Right.
And so that one-on-one is, if you want to be one-on-one and you go to dinner, you're gonna shut your phone off or you're gonna leave it in the car.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're gonna be doing it. You're gonna use Instagram or something. And I think the fact that there's that much social gathering, I think it does reduce the intimacy, which in turn reduces the number of relationships. People are more into what their goal is, what their focus is.
Right. I would say this even, Josh. I mean, we know of people who's getting married. That's either they're marrying for money. I'm talking about myself personally. People that I have not in my circle, but in ex teammates, classmates, whatever. That they are getting married because the guy has money. They're getting married because they got pregnant, or they're not getting married at all and they're just living together. It's rare the person that's dated a person and then married. Your brother's one person that's like that. But I think him and Ebes, they're rare. I know more people that have gotten married out of because they got pregnant more than I have just because they dated and
and
then
that
they got
lends
together.
to that divorce rate, because then you're not really getting married because you want to. You're getting married out of guilt, and that rarely turns anything out good. I mean, people in general at this point, we've kind of understood, as we're able to reach more people quicker, we're learning very fast. People are just so damn stupid. And it permeates now into social life even more. The people are getting married for dumb reasons. They're not taking the idea of marriage really seriously and really trying to invest in.
What's the idea of marriage now for me?
Well, no, but the
it
idea.
doesn't. I think because within your inner circle now of maybe your circle might span, 100, 120 people, 125 people, if that. But within that circle, you know everybody that you're going to know right now. And you know all the girls that you're going to know right now. Is there a woman in there that you know you're going to marry in that circle? No, you're probably going to find that person outside your inner circle, and that's going to happen with more, those little circles, more extensions, more relationships, more outside, and that circle's going to expand and grow. That number, for you to find that one person, I think that number of people that you know has to grow exponentially right now. And it's not happening because you're comfortable within your group. You know everything about all the people that are there because you see it on Twitter, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram. You're texting back and forth all the time. So there's much less privacy than there ever was before.
But I'm saying that, for instance, my girlfriend, she has so many friends. I'm like, how are they doing? She has a friend that's with a married man. She has people that they're getting married after living together for years. Like, the process is now, the dating is now, because I've been through it, Josh, you've been through it. The dating process is you find a girl, you go on dates, you move in together, and then you get married. Like,
maybe.
that's maybe, if you want to do that. Or you have kids, and then you get married after kids. Like, it's not the marriage, because you say they don't respect marriage. Marriage nowadays doesn't mean pretty much anything. Other than it might be like the tax breaks.
It seems more for most like a way of changing the economics of how you live.
Right.
Yeah,
Of having a partner and getting some tax benefits.
The bank account has two names on it, basically. That's what it is.
And you get tax breaks, don't you?
Yeah, you get a little bit of tax breaks. You know, ultimately, it seems that what you guys are doing now is, you know, you're more comfortable trying to make enough money to get your own apartment, to have your own car, to do the things you want to do, and then everything else is secondary to that.
You know what? You described my goals right now. I want to make money so I can buy a new car and live on my own.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
And that's the goal. My sister's living that now. My sister's struggling, can't pay half her bills the majority of the time, doesn't pay one to pay the other on a monthly basis, is living in a 700 square foot little place on the beach, just a couple blocks off South Beach somewhere, and basically drives on the weekends because the work she can walk to the hotel where she works at.
Yeah.
And so that's basically what she does. And it's everything's within that 5-block radius for her, so she can survive, because otherwise financially she can't survive. Mm-hmm. She can't survive. And she's, you know, the rent is what, $1,500, something like that, and she's making $2,000 a month or something.
Right.
So yeah.
But I mean, for me,
survival.
That's it. That's what's the difference is for me when you think of what the American dream is. It's not the black and white with the big red door. You know what I mean? The white picket fence and the dog, the golden retriever. Like, that doesn't exist. That's not America.
No, it's dramatic changes. Remember we talked about a few weeks ago the percentage of young men that have come back to live home, and that number's at 37%.
Really?
And women that come back home after college is down to 34%. So there's less women coming back home than there are guys coming back home. So more guys are coming back home after college, after getting their education, going out there and saying, okay, here's my resume. Who's hiring me?
No one.
Nobody? Oh, Mom, Dad,
yeah.
Do you still have my room? Or is that now a workout room for you? You know, do I have to sleep under the workout bench or something? You know, that's what's happening, man. And it's got to be terrifying to you guys. It's got to be terrifying, frustrating, and I don't know which one would come first.
Well, I mean, that's also the thing that I was talking, and then we'll get back into the sports in the next segment. That was part of the reason why I was talking with Gretchen, that the education system failed us. I'm talking to Alan and Josh.
It doesn't mean shit that I have a degree right now.
No, it doesn't, because you know what? There's more part-time jobs than there are full-time jobs, and
I don't think that's the education system per se. I think the education system has reacted to the society, and I think society reacted to what the federal government's done in the last 20 years. And I think that the value has been taken off education with the monies that's been put into education, or lack of money that's been put into education. And I think that everything else has stemmed to the point, all the policies that all our politicians, again, I've told you that both sides have screwed us as a country. And I think that what both sides have done politically and the states have done independently has hurt the businessman who's hiring the individuals and has hurt the corporations who are hiring the individuals. So it's no longer profitable to have 3 managers on the floor when you can have 1 manager on the floor and 12 part-time people for less money than you did the other way, because now you don't have benefits, you don't have vacations, you don't have sick time, you don't have insurance to worry about.
Right.
And so from a financial point of view, these companies, small or big, are looking to who they owe, which are their stockholders. And the dividend checks that got to go out on a monthly basis have to reflect a positive flow. Otherwise, those guys that are on top making those $200 million salaries and bonuses at the end of a year,
right,
those guys are going to get chopped. And they're not going to get chopped. So they're going to chop everybody else underneath them.
Right.
So the pyramid is no longer a pyramid. It's an inverted pyramid.
Right, it's upside down. But I meant the education system, that I'm coming out of college with loans and I have no job, to help me pay the loans.
Right.
And I went to Florida International and I stayed home and I saved, and my loans aren't that much. What about the kids that go out of state or Ivy League school or medical school or law school, and their loans are $100,000 plus? You know what I mean? And,
Absolutely.
And there's no
we
jobs
have a friend
for that.
like that, Kathy. who went to Cornell for veterinary school. I wouldn't even go near the idea of asking her what that cost her.
Yeah.
Because it's probably terrifying. Who knows how long she won't be able to put money into her own facility or stuff like that because she has to pay off loans. Who knows?
She's got to be in a $200,000 range because if med school is about $250 and lawyers are about $270 from schools, you're looking at least $250. So I mean that's how do you pay that back?
And not only that, though, there's an oversaturation of the market. How many doctors are out there? How many lawyers are out there that companies are like, I'm not going to pay this much for this guy. I'm going to drop down the salary because this guy is coming out of college and he's going to get it. But then there's 13 of him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I have friends that are engineers and they're working at a bar. They're working as waiters and they have engineering degrees. Like because there's the job markets. I mean, now mind you, there are opening markets like IT,
tech markets.
Yeah, and even some engineering markets that are available that they're expanding. But that's not where the workforces are. How many people are going to law school and med school, and there's not that many jobs?
Well, and I think that's a byproduct of what we're doing educationally and what our kids are getting used to, or what the parents are trying to funnel their kids into. And that's a mistake too, because when you're graduating, 75 to 80,000 lawyers during the course of any particular year,
Yeah.
and there are only 6,000 to 7,000 jobs available, there's going to be a surplus.
Yeah, of course.
There's going to be a surplus. The one surplus that there isn't, surprisingly so, is doctors. More doctors are retiring on a yearly basis than are graduating a medical school on a 2-to-1 basis.
Yeah, that's,
Really?
That's probably because it costs so much.
Well,
It
not only
costs so
does-
much and
does
there's
it
so much time.
I know.
it costs so
I
much,
know
the
if it-
insurance is so high, and they're making so little money based on the hours that they work.
Yeah, I know a bunch of people that wanted to become doctors and then decided it costs too much, it takes too long, you don't get paid that well.
Right.
I'm gonna become a nurse and then stay low and try to get money this way.
Right.
Eventually, if it opens up or something, I might do it, but that never really happens.
It's tough, man. It's tough. The upward movement, just to wrap it up and we'll go to break, the upward movement, it's a lot harder than it was, if you think about it, than it was when my grandparents got here.
Without question.
That's tough, isn't it?
It's got to be. It's got to be frustrating, and I'm scared for my kids.
You know, well, I'm a chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
My girlfriend's gonna love you, because she's into country. You know, Jenny's like a redneck.
You know, Jenny's still the most magnificent person I've ever met.
Magnificent? That's a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to a NASCAR event
It's gonna be loud.
Saturday and Sunday.
It's gonna be loud, hot, and mildly boring.
Well, I know. I went to Daytona, so I already know what that is.
Hey. For you guys who cannot see
I
Carlos
know.
right now, Carlos is
He's
waving
just
his
circling-
finger in
he's
a
just
circle.
circling, yeah.
More like an
Just-
oval.
Just basically.
You know, it's more like. Woo! Yeah, you see that? Yeah. That's how it was.
I bet the next turn they turn left. I mean, that's just.
They're making a left turn.
Again, did you see that?
They're making a left turn. Yeah. And you know what? This is my favorite country. This is the only country band that I like.
Zach
Is that
Brown?
Brown?
Yeah. This is.
I like country music.
I don't like country music at all.
I do.
Other than them.
I've learned to like it.
I like it.
Other than this, have you heard these guys before?
Oh yeah, Zach Brown. Yeah.
Alan?
No, man. And I've
No
had,
country at all, right?
And I've had friends who've had their swing into country music, and it's
And
torturous.
they swung back out?
It's
we're,
torturous.
we're not swinging here, boy. We're fully immersed.
Not me.
Yeah,
not me.
I got a daughter and a wife that like it, and a little girl likes it too. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm in it.
Jenny's a
I like
freak about it, and I know.
Yeah, but Jenny's also a freak about magnificent life.
she's ghetto and country at the same time.
country
Yeah,
ghetto
she's-
girl.
that likes NASCAR. What am I dating?
Country.
I don't know,
See,
bro.
see, you look confused, Josh. We were somewhere, and Jenny
You might need-
literally
you might
was
need to
spouting
reevaluate.
every line on every rap song that came on over the radio with the fingers in the air, little bit of attitude, and it's just a group of people who have stopped listening to rap because we're old, and we look over and she's just dropping lines. We're just like,
Whoa.
By the way,
You're
this
a
is the
thug.
reason why, right, Josh?
Yeah.
I thank God for my life and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly. Let it ring. Salute the ones who died, the ones that give their lives so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love,
Like our anime.
damn right. America supports my stealing of Japanese entertainment. Suckers.
America supports the culture of Japanese culture.
Yeah, hey, they take our stuff, make it cool looking, and we steal it right back.
That's true. You know what it is that America stole pizza?
That's not shocking.
We own pizza.
We
We
own
own
pizza.
pizza.
We invented
We
it.
own tacos.
That's
Like-
another.
like
that's another.
ours.
That's another American tradition of stealing other people's stuff, making it our version, and then
Americanize
saying
it.
how great
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. The
Like
fact that
fried
there-
rice.
Right. The fact that there's an Americanized, like you can say Americanized, that's a term, that it proves to the same thing. Fortune cookies were made in the United States. Fortune cookies never existed in China.
Of course not. Over there, they're eating like ox balls and turtle dick.
But they never had fortune cookies. That's an American company capitalist invention. Can you believe that?
That's incredible. But it's sold at every Chinese restaurant.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, it's sold everywhere. I love fortune cookies.
I went to the one of the oldest fortune cookie companies in Chinatown in San Francisco.
No way.
Yeah, it's in a back alley. It was very scary getting there. And and then the guys making them, they're just sitting there making them by hand, man, and running them through this machine. And then you walk through the back of it, they'll smile. You want a bag of fortune cookies? You give them $5. They give you a big old bag, and they give you a
Nice.
couple in your hand. They're hot. You eat
Yeah.
them hot. It's pretty cool.
That
It was
sounds
really
like-
it was really interesting.
I like fortune cookies.
I'm sitting here riding on the trolley, eating a bag of fortune cookies.
There's sports to get back to.
Yes, there is.
We took a little pause of Americana in the last segment, but there is sports to get back to. So, Josh, I'll see you in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins they've lost 5 out of their 6. They're an embarrassment nationally, not only locally, and there's just no positives. If you're gonna put a list of things that are positive, what's at the top? What can you say that's at the top?
I got this. They can't be relegated to the XFL.
Actually, I think I saw an article said they're considering that.
What?
That's going to be really hard without the XFL still around.
Because everyone's making a list of negatives. Everyone's saying, out of the list of negatives, Caleb Sturgis is towards the bottom. But what's the list of positives?
They can still beat Alabama, Oregon, and Florida State.
Whenever you mention any kind of kicker in any kind of conversation that has to do with not negative for your team,
Right.
that in
There's
itself
an issue.
tells you what the problem is with this football team.
They have the best player to wear a sports bra.
Just think about it, though. Think about it.
What is the positive spin for the Miami Dolphins?
No,
right
no,
now?
make the list. I know you don't like making lists. Just shout out positives about this Miami Dolphins team, season, whatever. I can't think of any.
It's going to end.
Can you imagine that?
Yes! Winner!
Last year, we had the hope of Ryan Tannehill. That hope's, I don't know if it's gone, but it's
Yeah.
it's not that bright anymore.
What's happened, and using your Star Wars thing, is no longer the hope of like Luke. It's Anakin on fire with no limbs.
Yeah.
That's our hope right now.
It's Jar Jar
This
Binks.
poor carcass was being dragged through lava
Oh, God.
called Claybo. That's where we're at right now.
I mean, I really can't think of much
one.
positive that's going on with this franchise right now. I mean, they even took history away from us by changing our uniforms. They took history away. Now, nobody will ever wear the same uniform that Dan Marino wore or that Nat Moore wore or that Paul Warfield wore or that Bob Greasy wore. Nobody will ever wear the same colors, the same helmet, the same design,
The
nothing.
logo.
They even did the basic, the fundamental, the core of this team, the uniform. They took it away from us.
They left the core.
They took
It's
everything.
stinky and rotten and smells like turds.
They took everything away. They've taken everything away. Stephen Ross's entourage has taken everything from us. Everything that we held dear to this this franchise, to this historic franchise, is gone, man. There's nothing left.
No, we still got the memories of the Juan stash.
Alan, I got to ask you a question. Me and Theo Carlos talked about it last week. When we were talking about the bullying, which took up most of the show last week, it got to you a little bit?
Oh, I was even hearing from people that listen to the show that I just sounded so fatigued over the whole thing because, and I had the conversation again with Halfbeard that, and I'm an anomaly within basketball that I was very different, but I wasn't, like, the way it got handled was in a way to try to support me and keep me involved, which is what helped. But that these grown-ass men, and Keith has wrestled and played football, so he has more in an understanding of a football locker room, that this is a perpetual, it's like Stockholm Syndrome. You got fucked with, so you understand, you feel bad for the people fucking with you, and then you start fucking with other people, and it just perpetuates where these grown-ass men are taping people to poles and taking them out to plunder and ruin other people's financial situations. And the way it sounded last week was as if you were blaming the nerd for him being bullied by the jock, and that he had no right to be in football because he didn't fit in.
But
Right,
in
that's what
retrospect, you're starting to see now that the quote-unquote nerd, to use your own words, wasn't such a nerd.
Oh, no. I'm just talking about how it felt last week.
Right.
As the story has gone on,
It's
at this
evolved.
point, I don't even know what to feel because
Right.
every time it's something new, it's Martin was not as picked on as you thought. He was sending internet memes.
Do you know what it reminds me of? And I almost said it last week, and I didn't because I couldn't remember her name. I still don't remember her name, but I'm going to say it anyway. The lady's name was Susan something, and her car. She called the police, and she claimed that her car was stolen. She was carjacked by a black man, and that he took off. And then the car ended up in the lake, and the two kids ended up strapped in the back seat, drowning. Her two children. You remember that story?
No.
Well, this young lady, Susan something or other, 20-some-odd years old. I think it was somewhere in Georgia. She frantically calls the police that her car was taken. She was carjacked, and she described the man as a black man, and that her car was taken. A few hours later, they found her car submerged in a lake. The two kids were strapped in the back seat. Well, there was never any black guy. There was never anybody carjacking. She did it, and she walked away, and she did it herself. Kind of not, the way I was picturing this thing was that this story wasn't the way it was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't all incognito. This guy who came out and told the story had a lot more to do with this story being what it was than we were being led to believe. And I think that ultimately, when all this is said and done, you're going to see that Incognito's a jerk because he's been a jerk from day one.
Oh,
Right.
The first thing that comes out after all this starts is this molestation thing that happened at a Dolphin event.
The
Where-
golf.
Yeah, where he's putting golf clubs in places they should not be on
Right.
poor girls who are just working there.
And pouring bottles
And
of
then,
water.
then finishing it off by unloading his bottle.
Okay, and then explain to me how.
Phrasing.
Explain to me why this young lady can't talk when she was contacted last week.
Because there was a...
There's a
Dol-
gag.
the-
There's a gag order.
There's a gag order.
Why is there a
Dolphins-
gag order?
The Dolphins tried to settle it, so it never got out.
Tried? No, the Dolphins did. They paid her off, and the gag order is issued by a judge and by both attorneys once the case is settled. You can't issue a gag order if there's not a settlement.
Right.
Once the settlement was done, which means she got paid.
Yeah. Then they told her to shut up.
Shut up! You can't talk about this because otherwise you owe us money. We'll sue you.
Right.
So nobody's supposed to know what happened in Incognito. Why? Is there a surprise that the Dolphins covered this up? They've been covering crap up for
Everything.
years, man.
Everything.
With this guy and with everybody else in that locker room. That locker room is dysfunctional. All NFL locker rooms, I think, are dysfunctional.
Yeah.
This one is highly, highly dysfunctional because of the leadership.
I want to pick it up from there. So you know how Incognito wanted meetings in strip clubs.
Yes.
And they wanted the offensive line in strip clubs. Look at the cast of characters and buffoons that they have on the offensive line, okay? Imagine Jonathan Martin, walking to the strip club, okay, and in the background, and he sees the ringleader, like biting the neck of a goat, just spraying blood everywhere, just whipping the guts out and just completely trashing, grabbing black guys and throwing them out and yelling profanity words. And he looks to the right and he sees John Jerry just stuffing the entire buffet, just ravenous, just not finish eating. And he sees to the left and he has Claybo just in the fetal position, flinching at anyone walking towards his way.
Who's the other white lineman?
Gardner?
Yeah, because Gardner pops up on the starting lineup thing, and the first thing I hear out of the crew I'm watching with, "Oh God, nothing good comes from an old lineman with glasses. This can't be good."
Right. And you see Bryant McKinney, the biggest nut of them all, is like, "Oh my God, these guys are crazy." Oh yeah, and then you have like Pouncey cleaning his gun, just down the sideline talking to Aaron Hernandez, and they're like, "All right, shotgun ready?" He's like, "Yeah, I got 2 right here." And then, no, formation.
Back in the pads. My bad.
Like, the offensive line itself is just a nut. They're full of nutcases, man.
And isn't that like normally, and you guys a little bit more touched like in football than I am. That's not usually the case. Usually the O-line is a bunch of pretty normal guys that just happen to have to eat a lot to be big. Like, they're not a bunch of crazy people, usually.
Right.
Instead, we have a cast of crazy people.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It's a sitcom.
And who are they led by? The cast of the crazy people. It's
We talked about
terrible.
that last week, that part of the structure, the bones of this is bad from Philbin, but the muscles that you're putting on this is just crap. That Ireland has given no shot. The only choice you have for leadership is Incognito here.
It's crazy.
That's your leader.
That's how
crazy.
bad it is.
It's
Incognito should be your backup to both guard spots.
Yeah,
He should not be one of the better players on your line and the one that's going to be a leader.
Well, even if he is a starter, he should definitely not be on your
the best
leadership council.
Yeah, and not only that, though, can you imagine, like, Jeff Ireland? So they're like, "Okay, yeah, Jonathan Martin, you must fight this man for respect in the locker room." Like, what kind of Hunger Games bullshit is that? Where Martin walks into this into the locker room and it's just like everyone puts the 3 up at the
Incognito
top.
walks in.
There's like two sets of weapons. Whoever gets
He's
to the
got
weapons
like
first.
nothing but pelt. He's got rid of the Dolphin shirt. He's got pelt. Fight me! And in the corner is Cam Wake with his sports bra on fire. Just
Right.
check out my abs.
All the weapons are in there's a big gold cornucopia under the dome and
Yeah, man.
go.
That's Hunger Games
And
stuff that Jeff Ireland
Sturgis
is trying
is running
to do.
around like handing out the weapons and running away.
That lady was Susan Smith, by the way.
Okay.
And that happened in 1994.
I think I was 5 years old.
Yeah, so you wouldn't have known about it.
It's just
Eight.
it's funny to me that all this stuff is coming out reporting. I think Martin at first I was defending him a little bit, but now everyone's to blame. Incognito is not as bad, even though he's a bad guy.
Sure, a horrible guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's a monster.
Yeah, he
that
doesn't look
everyone's-
like this rogue agent. It seems so much more that the staff had something to do with it, that the institution was kind of pushing him toward this.
Yeah.
And then he became Incognito. And
His horribleness, if not a word, but we'll make it one, is not as pronounced as it was 10 days ago when we found this out.
Mhm.
Because now you see all the underlying factors and all these, that old adage, you start peeling that onion and there's many layers to it. There's many layers to this, and it starts, and I'm convinced that it starts at the top.
No, it's
And I am 100% convinced that what was reported that Ireland said hit him, that's true.
right.
That's absolutely true.
I said it last week. It stemmed more from the front office than either of the guys or any one of the players. Now there's going to be let's talk about Stephen Ross. Where does he go? What does he do? He finally came out on Monday Night Football. The first time that we saw him in the week and a half leading up
9 days after.
leading up to it. Okay, Stephen Ross basically he says nothing. He doesn't give any new information. What he does give a tell in, he kept mentioning Philbin. Yeah, this guy's a great guy. I've been in constant communications with him. He's been keeping me up to date. He's a great guy, great leader. He never mentioned Jeff Ireland, only once, like you said.
Once.
Jeff Ireland has been here for 6 years, Look at the state of the franchise now. That alone is worth firing.
Without question.
Let's throw on the fact that they spent $168 million in the offseason. They had all these draft choices. They got their quarterback. He's been here and drafting by himself for 4 years. What's the state of this franchise?
None. When you can, the day that you can draft 9 rookies and say that they're going to be playing for you, and you got 2 years in a row where you got everybody still on the roster, there's no turnover. That means there's no competition because there's no talent. No matter who you bring in, they're going to be there. They're not going anywhere because there's not enough competition to oust somebody. There's no talent. The depth and the quality of the talent with the Miami Dolphins isn't there. It just isn't.
So where does he go? Where does Stephen Ross and this franchise go? Let's say they end up 7-9 like we all expect.
We had that. Go ahead.
7-9.
I'm just saying
7-9. You have that much faith?
They can win.
7-9.
They can win 3 games to finish off the season.
Look, the analogy I had with Tannehill being Anakin Skywalker, that's about 2 games away from being a reality, where he's taking the ball from between Pouncey's ass with his mouth.
Yeah, he's got
because he's got no legs,
right.
And if he's got an arm, it's toasted, and it'll be the left one. 7-9, my ass.
I'm just saying, okay, 6-10, 7-9, below 500, below a playoff spot. Where does Stephen Ross go from here? Does Stephen Ross fire Jeff Ireland?
I don't think he's got a choice. I think absolutely to save face with this franchise, to clean the image up of this team nationwide. If this was a localized incident, I think that he would maybe try to push it another year. But this is not a local incident. This is a nationwide, worldwide issue. And I think he's going to have to fire Ireland.
Worldwide?
Yeah, they're talking about it in Canada.
That's right, eh?
They're talking about it in Canada. If in fact he fires Ireland, he must fire Philbin. You can't do one.
One of the scary things I've heard is that Ireland just seems dead in the water. That seems obvious now. He won't be back. But that he'll support Philbin in a way after getting rid of Ireland that will either keep good GM candidates away because they're going to want full
Their
autonomy.
own guy.
Yeah, they're going to want whatever they want. And it's one thing to come in and be like, look, give him an interview. But if he starts, no, Philbin's my guy, come be the GM, how many good guys is he going to scare away?
That's
then
true.
we'll end up with another Ireland or Spielman.
Carl Peterson.
Start it over.
Lebatard talked about it. Lebatard talked about the hangover of between regimes. When Dave Wannstedt left, they kept Rick Spielman during the Nick Saban years. And then after Saban left, they still had who'd they have after Spielman? They had Rick Spielman it was Rick Spielman and then Bill Parcells. That's how the GMs have gone. Who was the GM in between both? There wasn't one,
I
right?
think there was one.
Didn't Saban have control of personnel?
Okay, so I mean, basically what he said was there's always been leftover. When they got rid of Sperano, they didn't get rid of Ireland. They brought in Philbin after him, and before that, when they had and now I'm drawing a blank on the Bill Parcells. When they had Bill Parcells before him, it's just been leftover, and that's what's continued to happen when they fire
There's
Ireland.
always something left to contaminate the next guy's attempt at remodeling. It's always something.
It just doesn't work. You said it. You said it right. When you clean house, when you come in, you want your own people.
Yeah.
It's like hiring John Gruden and bringing him in and say you got to keep all these assistants. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So nobody with any kind of any kind of quality is going to come here. You know who might get this job if he does that? It's going to be Carl Peterson, his buddy, the guy he's been taking advice from for the last 6 years.
Doesn't that build confidence?
Well, of course, because that's the guy who he keeps telling him that Jeff Ireland is a great young GM.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. What do you make of his councils, his committees?
Hey.
He's got a committee of who was on that committee? Tony Dungy.
There was Dungy, Marino,
Curtis Martin,
Jason Taylor.
No,
Shula.
Shula. They're gonna wake Shula up. You know
That
what I
poor
think?
guy.
Okay, here's what I think. I think these committees are just gonna be him going out to dinner and asking opinions. And poor Shula is gonna be like, It's 5:30. Can I go home and go to sleep?
Why am I here?
You wheeled me out here. I got my good walker. Let me go back home. You don't need to know anything. And they're gonna be over like locker room culture. What the hell is a committee gonna do about locker room culture?
It doesn't make sense.
Jason Taylor says this shouldn't be happening. Okay, and he goes back to his home in Davie and relaxes. The hell does that mean?
It's just a joke. I'm done with this team. I'm done with it. I can't believe you turned it off, man.
I turned it off.
I can't believe you did that.
I turned it off, and I was okay with it. I didn't second guess trying to go back on and see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
The Bucks had the ball. They were on their 46, 47-yard line, and I knew they were going to go down and score. So I said, you know what, the hell with this. I'm not going to sit up and try to come back, fumble it, get a sack, or have an interception, and then me get frustrated till 2:30 in the morning. I'm not doing it.
It's funny when Stephen Ross was in his interview and he said, I want to make this a first-rate franchise. Remember when he said that? He's like, I want to make this a first-rate franchise. You're not doing a good job
Sell
of
it.
Apple.
Sell it.
You're not doing it. Just
Can we sell to the Roonies? Is that possible?
this is what Carlos says. Let's look at the history. He grabs the mic and he brings it closer. Let's look at the history.
It sounds better though. You get the echo. You get the tight shot.
They had all the money to spend in the offseason, okay? Who's the best signing that they've had so far in the offseason? Wheeler?
Gibson.
Gibson? Yeah.
Yeah, by far, not even close.
And he's not even playing.
No, and even the season will end, and his production level will be much more than either the two linebackers or Mike Wallace.
The thing is, you can say we had all the money. We've had all the money a couple of times, and the result hasn't been good ever.
Right.
A good GM would say, you know what? I'll hold the money. That's not worth my money. There's got to be some level of
you don't gotta spend
you
it.
have cap room. Let me just throw it out there. Just shit it out my ass and hope someone catches it. That's what they've done. That's what they've been doing. And it's always for that fucking Band-Aid we deal with. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
They believe everything they do is going to be the Band-Aid that puts them over. And it never is.
Yeah, they're all win-now moves.
Exactly. To win in the next few weeks and the next few seasons, and it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You
So
got to build.
They spent all the money in the offseason and free agency. They draft the players that they drafted. When they had a weak offensive line going in the offseason, they don't draft any high up. They draft for a third down specialist, okay?
No, they all thought the room on that one. We all believed there was going to be a lineman. Granted, those linemen haven't really turned out to be much of anything. Right?
But still, then
Yeah, but you know what the fear is now? Maybe they will next year, but now we got to go back next year
and draft
and blow every single pick on a freaking offensive lineman to hope we can hit on 2 or 3 of them and then bring in a bunch of these guys as free agents and overpay again to try to build an offensive line that this guy was supposed to be building for the last 5 or 6 years and that Philbin was supposed to build for 2 because he was an offensive line coach for 3 years with the Packers.
The franchise doesn't get the renovations of the stadium.
No, that was a slap in the face.
They actually didn't even get it to a vote.
Nope.
Okay, then they start off then they change the logo, which some might consider that also
sacrilegious.
An embarrassment. They start off 3-0, and now they've lost 5 of 6, and now they're in the national media talking like 60-minute stuff. And they have a bullying scandal, and now the team is a joke after a Monday Night Football game. This is the lowest. This has to be the lowest point of the Dolphins franchise. I want to say since they went 1-15.
I was about to say because Camarillo's touchdown, and I want to say it was like Heisinger crying.
Yeah,
that has to be pretty low. I mean,
he fell to his knees. Yeah,
especially with Billick giving us the game.
Well, people don't remember, but Matt Prater missed a field goal
for that opportunity to happen.
Yep. If he didn't miss that field goal, then they would have gone winless. But this has to be the lowest point since that point, no? And that was what 2008.
Yeah.
You know why this is lower in my eyes?
Lower
in my eyes.
Away from the mic, Josh. Away from the mic.
I had no expectations then. I knew we had a very average team at best.
Mm-hmm.
This team was built up to be something different. This team was built up to be a 10 or 11 win team that would compete and maybe get to a second round of the playoffs and grow a little bit more with our stud young rookie quarterback who was supposed to be in the class of the other guys that were drafted a few spots ahead of him. What spot was he drafted in?
8.
He wasn't drafted in the second round. He was drafted in the first round.
8 overall.
Okay, so now we've drafted a quarterback 8th,
A lineman third.
A lineman third who is not even playing.
Mm-mm.
A quarterback who's not producing for whatever the reason.
Mm-hmm.
All those reasons are your fault, Jeff Ireland.
Yep.
They're
He's
all
got to
your
go. He's
fault.
got to go. Jeff Ireland has to get fired. This has to be the final straw, doesn't it? The guy's got to go. He's not good at his job.
I'm just saying.
How many people are going to be there for that Charger game?
It's going to get blacked out.
And if they lose, how many people are going to be there for the Panther game?
Nah, it's going to get blacked out.
I'm just saying. Ireland better dig up some real embarrassing pictures. If he wants to
Get
keep
his daughters
job.
to start drawing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get his
Jeff,
daughters.
Get the
his
girls.
daughters.
Get the girls out, man. Get them out. Get them some new crayons. and put them out there. I know they're 16, 17 years old, but they can still draw with crayons. Get them out there. Put them in front of Steve and say, Uncle Steven, I got pictures for you. And just give them. We got to do something.
They're autistic, Josh.
I am never comfortable with this one.
They're very smart, very attractive young ladies.
Welcome back, sports fans, as the Sports Table does its Week 10 rundown of NFL games. In a battle of the birds, the Seahawks defeat the Falcons 33-10. Chris!
They're shitting on my head, man. That's what Matt Ryan was saying because they were up and then they down and then the Seahawks. Are Seahawks better birds than Falcons?
No, Falcons are much tougher birds than Seahawks.
Not on Sunday.
In the battle of racism, the Vikings stand up to racists, beating the racist slurs 34-27. Allen, fuck you, racism. Woo!
Filthy.
In birds versus cheese, the Eagles defeat the Aaron Rodgers-less Packers 27-13. Josh! Wonderful!
Great. Awesome.
Anything from either team when you say Packers, what do you think?
Oh, you cut the cheese.
There you go.
This is what I coached. This is what I was working with. In a game featuring a Transformers versus some animals from a forest,
Yep.
the Lions defeat the Bears
Yeah.
21-19. Chris!
Me again? Megatron, he's a monster. And you know what? Jay Cutler, that guy's done in Chicago. Why are they going to keep re-signing him? They have Luke, the new hope.
Luke, he is your father.
Megatron is all of Chicago's father.
Yes.
He just came all over that city.
In the game featuring mythical creatures and an animal that can carry a gazelle into a tree,
What?
the Jaguars defeat the Titans for their first win of the year. Carlos!
Oh, those Panthers are good. Boy, those Carolina Yeehawks are happy now. Woo! They might have a team. Go.
What are you talking about, man? Oh, Jacksonville.
In the most unprecedented game of the week, an animal with horns beat some horses 38-8. Josh!
What was the team names?
Rams versus Colts. An animal with horns and horses.
He doesn't know.
That's fine. Josh!
Literally say anything that's coming to your mind right now.
I've got nothing.
Drawing a blank.
Nothing.
All right.
Drawing a blank.
This guy's supposed to be the medic thinking on your feet. I like it. Go.
The curse of Al David. Al Davis.
What a derailed segment this is.
Continues to haunt the Raiders. With the Giants, Ricky's Giants defeating the Oakland Raiders 24-20. Allen, I don't give a shit about this game. Why? Moving on. In a game of former proud franchises, the Steelers defeat the Bills. Chris, 23-10. Chris, what do you think?
Was that the Dan Dierdorf game? Because he always gets the shittiest AFC games, and I'm pretty sure he was covering that game. Both franchises are shitty. The Dolphins are right behind them.
In a game of a team that left Ohio and a team that's still stuck in Ohio, Ravens defeat the Bungles 2017. I'll be honest. I mean, if Miami beats you, you should just forfeit the rest of the season. I mean, I have Gio Bernard on that team, and I want him doing good, but just, I mean, At this point, you got beat by some bullies. The hell. In a game George would usually enjoy, the Panthers defeat Coppernickel's 49ers 10-9 in a barn-burning exhibition of offense. Carlos!
Coppernickel very good. He very good.
But
But he lost the game.
Let me interrupt you right there. Tannehill, not as good as Coppernickel. In a game involving crazy fans, the Texans lose to the Cardinals by some unknown means, 27-24. Josh!
What do you call it?
Josh lifted his head like he was called in class. He had his head down. He lifted his head like, what?
Why'd you wake me up, you jackass?
I'm here.
President.
Cardinals!
Casey Keenum. What the hell's his name?
That's what they're saying in Houston.
Well, they're threatening him too. They visited his house, and now he's with Matt Schaub. They're living together somewhere on the coast in Corpus Christi.
They're in the witness protection program.
In a game that ends with an owner walking Bourbon Street enjoying him some liquor, the Saints defeat the Cowboys 49-17. Chris!
Woo! Boobies and I don't know. The things that the Cowboys do is that they win and then they lose and then they lose and then they lose. The Cowboys are not that good. I thought Tony Romo was a good quarterback.
Who was walking Bourbon Street? Benson or was it Jerry Jones?
Jerry Jones. They found him on Deadspin. Jerry Jones was patrolling.
Jerry Jones don't give a damn. He was on Bourbon Street, man. He couldn't wait till that game, man. I think he left in the fourth quarter.
In a game that sees a team that shall sodomize the Dolphins next week, the Broncos defeat their division rivals, the Chargers, and that resurrected corpse of Phillip Rivers, 28-20. Allen! I didn't have anybody in this game, so I don't really care. Let's move on.
Always with the fantasy with this guy.
That's what makes... Look, here's how the NFL works. The Dolphins suck. I have to care about something else. Fantasy football. That's what gets me by into fourth place, Christopher.
Fuck you, Allen.
And now it's time to change the tenor of our program. The final game of the week.
Ay, coño.
Literally, it was the final
game of the week. We talked about how the Dolphins season was over. Apparently, no one told the Dolphins, so they continued playing games. So as they leave the locker room full of hatred and bullying and racism, they're forced to play a team who, up until then, had not won a game.
I'm so tired of this. Every week's the same thing.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers
My heart hurts.
have gotten less work out of those cannons this year
I fell asleep. I went to bed.
than the Koreans have gotten work out of, happy people.
There are no happy people here.
That's my point. So for the first set of tragic emotion, we go to our most ardent fan, Carlos.
I'm so tired. It's the same thing week in and week out. And I pick my head up on Monday and I'm hoping and praying for some resolution to this disaster. And I still see that Jeff is still working, Joe is still coaching, and we're still losing. And Ross, he's still selling condominiums in New York. It's a win, lose, lose, lose for everybody. One winner, 4 losers, and all the fans. I'm really tired.
Next, we go to what was the one pillar of hope in our group, and now has been turned into a raped Afghani child with maybe a grenade in his urethra. Christopher, tell us.
Well, now I'm dead. I'm the child that tried to live, gasping for air, and lo and behold, there's a giant dick named Richie Incognito. And he's telling me he wants to shit on this other guy's face. Yet, the only one that gets shit on is me. My body is limp, cold, and filled with semen.
That's what she said.
Next, we go to the youngest member of today's panel, pillar of information and insight. Joshua, would you please enlighten us how you feel on the Dolphins?
So sad. Even for someone who's not as emotionally invested, my heart hurts. Especially for people who watch the games religiously and have crappy weeks. I feel for you guys.
Crappy
Months.
crappy seasons.
And again, we finish with the emotional anchor of the sports table, Alan. Look, man, I had a good time watching that game, to be honest. I thought it was funny as hell. I'm enjoying it. It's like watching the car crash. It's what you're here for. The fact that you guys had any hope at all is where I feel bad for you. Because, come on, it's the Dolphins. This is what they do. They find the most embarrassing way to lose, and then they do it. And then they bring the tear to the eye of Carlos and George. The Tower of Sauron cries as I enjoy horrid football.
Richie, would you like to borrow my slippers?
Shut
and my
up,
smoking jacket?
rookie! I'm enjoying my highlight reels of pancakes.
Richie, I'm not a rookie anymore. I'm a second-year player.
You know what his second year is? A rookie third-year player.
Would you like to sit with me and have some tea and crumpets?
I'll crump it up your ass.
I'm going to the club to play polo. Would you like to come with me?
No, because you'll be paying for my trip.
Richie, could you please?
I don't want to hear it unless it's a meme.
Please put on some clothes. I don't want to see it anymore.
No, my incognito does not need to be incognito. It shall be for everyone to see. Swinging in helicopter circles.
But my father saw it on Skype.
That's fine, and my father will hunt your father down on the internet board.
I'm scared.
And that concludes this week's NFL Rundown. Good night and God bless. Unless you're the Dolphins, then fuck you.
By far, some of the best work we do here at the Sports Table.
It's starting the rival con mierda.
It's just because of this sad take,
Yeah.
and every time the Dolphins lose, it's good for the show.
We're getting very good at it.
We've done it 5 times. I think we're gonna do it another 6. 6?
Yeah,
Yep.
How many
6
games
times.
we got left?
too many.
We got. We're gonna go to break.
I'm gonna need to find new sad music.
We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk some other sports. The Canes lost. Why is it so negative? Fuck Miami. We have nothing
Do you
good.
realize the kind of week
we have nothing good.
Yeah, we
the
turned
Heat-
into Cleveland for a weekend.
The Heat got beat. Dwayne Wade thought he was in high school, throwing the ball off the backboard. The
That
Dolphins
one
get beat.
bullshit.
I mean, I have no idea what the hell happened this week in this town.
I'm
man.
telling you, Dan Gilbert's voodoo curse finally hit for a weekend, and we turned into Cleveland. That's what it is.
The Canes lost. The Heat struggled, even though they beat the Bucks. But us 5 in here can beat the Bucks. The Marlins.
Get ready to put up some shots, Josh.
Don't exist.
The
No,
Marlins are here.
No, you know I don't like doing that.
Oh shit!
We have some more sports, and we have. You know what? Stay tuned. It's not all bad because it's bad for them, but it's good for us. We have a North Korea segment coming up next, and we're gonna do the first ever Walking Dead segment because George is not here, and we have someone to fill in that role. So we have all that. What do we have? Sports, Korea, Come Mierda, Walking Dead, all
And
that.
crumpets in your ass.
This is a good story. Josh, jump on this mic while Carlos is there. Matt has to jump on this too because I have to call him out for it. When you play video games nowadays, it's filled with curse words and profanity all the time. I used to play a lot more than I do now. Actually, I never play online anymore. But when I did play, kids that were 13-year-old, you fucking faggot! I'm gonna shit in your mouth, you pussy ass bitch.
Yeah, what you didn't know is you were playing someone from the Incognito family.
right.
Incognito 66.
Right.
That guy was in if the right family. Yeah.
My favorite, it doesn't have to be about you guys, yourselves, unless you have a really good one. My favorite personal experience of involving cursing and playing online, I want to hear your guys' story. I'm playing with this guy named Carlos Cuervo. We all know who he is. Very nice guy, soft-spoken. He never used to curse. There's a certain point where you stopped caring about playing, and all you would do is try to pick fights with people online. That's how we used to do it in Halo 3. So we would try to pick fights with people, make fun of their names. We go to Carlos. Carlos, man, you don't say anything ever. You just let us fight by ourselves. Yeah, I don't want to do it. Carlos, You have to do it. The next person that comes online with us and says anything, you just got to get at them. Oh, man, I don't want to. Just do it. Fine. New screen loads up. The guy says, seriously, like, hey, guys, fuck your grandmother, you piece of shit. Everyone's like, oh, my God, Carlos. It completely caught us off guard. So let's hear it. That's my favorite. That's my favorite one. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, I've got two. The first one was a game called Mag. It was Sony's attempt at having a huge like shooter where you can have 64 and 64. All right. I was a sniper. I laid down, and for some reason I decided to click. I end up meleeing. The problem was I literally meleeed as someone walked across my screen. So I killed one of my own teammates. 10 seconds later, what I get is I see my like the dot coming up behind me from my team, plants some bombs on me, cuts me. I blow up, I'm dead, and I hear, "You noob piece of shit! The fuck is wrong with you killing me? I'm on your team." It was an accident, man. You're a fucking noob. You probably never played this. You bought it today. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The other one I have, my brother was talking to this girl.
Online?
No. It was just in general.
Okay.
Seeking a relationship, and he had a couple swings at her. They would talk and it would fail, and then she would get a boyfriend. One of the times, the boyfriend who knew who he was, because this guy is a close friend of the girl he's going out with,
Right.
hates him for some reason. Just hates him, mainly because he's kind of the only competition he's got to deal with. So he starts talking shit. Won't let her talk to him. Starts, hablando mierda about him. And at some point, she's like, man, I bet that N-word, he doesn't play Halo. That pussy doesn't play Halo. He fucking sucks. Well, he does, but beside the point. He's like,
Right.
okay, yeah. So and my brother's like, fine, I'll play you. He happens to be at a person who was our friend, Stouffer. If you've ever heard a Stouffer story, Stouffer was someone who took things very seriously when he got into them. So, for instance, he played Halo 2 in French on a modded Xbox before it came out.
Right.
He's been playing Halo since it came out. He can snipe you without scoping while jumping and going backwards. He can leave
he's
levels.
good.
Yeah,
He's good.
he's ridiculous.
Okay.
So what my brother does goes, okay, you want to play? Yeah, okay. Yeah, you fucking pussy. I'm going to fuck you in the face. I'm a fucking pussy. All right. What's your gamer tag? He gives him the gamer tag. They meet up on Xbox Live. My brother just looks at Chris, hands him the controller. Chris puts down the Master Chief helmet that he was buffing. Because this guy has a Master Chief helmet, by the way, and a battle rifle, by the way.
Yeah.
Puts that down, 25-0.
Oh, my God.
And the whole time, my brother's just, what? You're not talking anymore? You're not talking? What's wrong? Hey, this is bullshit. You fucking cheated. This is fucking bitch. And he just signs off.
Right.
Never plays again.
That's pretty good. Those are pretty good ones. Josh, Matt, you got some?
No, when I used to play, for some reason, everyone always thought that me and my friends were Hispanic, so we would be the people that.
Aren't you Hispanic?
Well, yeah, but like they'd call us Mexican.
Oh,
We're automatically.
okay.
You have a Hispanic accent, you're automatically Mexican.
Right.
Beaner. Yeah. So when we would sign on, we'd be talking to each other, and we'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, Mexican." They'd tell us that stupid Mexican. Whoa, take it easy. And then obviously, then they start to talk. We start to talk crap to them.
Right.
You fucking suck, because we were good. We would actually win.
Uh-huh.
And the stupid Mexicans were kicking ass.
Right.
Fuck you. I don't know. I was probably like Carlos. I wouldn't really say much.
This is really say anything. Matt?
No. Well, you guys obviously hear
You're
it.
annoying, man.
Yeah,
I know.
dude,
Me and my friends are definitely the ones that bully.
With your stupid Turtle Beaches that you don't hear how loud you are.
Can I assume since he's obnoxious, that means he's playing Call of Duty?
Yes.
Call of Duty, Halo, all of the above.
I just remembered another one. This was the genesis of you and me enjoying FIFA together, Chris.
Right.
The story where I made someone curse everything I believe in.
Right.
In FIFA 10, it was kind of the way the passing was. It was cheap. You could just ping pong your way down the field. So the way I learned soccer was ping pong down the field, give it to Didier Drogba, and he would just score a goal. So even at like professional and a little into world class, I was averaging 7 to 10 goals a game.
Wow. Holy shit.
I had a friend who played someone else on amateur. It's the only time they played. That's the only way they played. He was over. and it was me, my brother, Jason, and him. Jason runs set plays. He loves corner kicks. He loves free kicks. But Jason also holds the ball and he moves it around.
Right.
So, he beats this guy like 5-0 very quietly. My brother gets blitzkrieged out at the fucking place because that's how I do. Then I play Jason. It's a good game. I win. I think it was like 10-7 or something.
Oh my gosh.
That's a high scoring game.
How long are the minutes?
We put I want to say we put like 20-minute halves. I don't remember.
It's too long, man.
Then I play this guy.
Yeah.
So they bring the unblemished lamb out. And he never got past the halfway line. I think my possession was like maybe 20%. But it was just I would take it from him, go down and score. And then I had the habit because Drogba sounds like such a great name. I would just yell, Drogba! So at about goal 5, he's angry. Then I start singing the Smash Brothers song with Drogba instead of the sound. Like, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, Drogba! So and I'm just having fun at about 11 goals.
Oh shit!
Because they're at this point it's literally like I'm just lobbing it.
You're an asshole.
I am an asshole. But look, I don't know restraint because if I restrain myself, I suck. So I have to pour everything I have.
Yeah, but you don't have to say it verbally to him.
Look, I'm just having fun. I've been yelling Drogba with
asshole.
everyone else. When you and me play, if Drogba scores, I'm yelling Drogba. I could be losing 4-1.
But you're not saying Drogba.
By the way, I also set up FIFA to play that music in the background whenever they score.
I want. Oh no, but
it's not done because by about goal 11 is when he kind of started to like crumble in, and I score that goal, and I'm laughing because it's funny. I mean, I'm scoring goals. It's great. And he turns at me just, I hate you and everything you believe in, you son of a bitch. And then he just turns back to the screen, cowers back into his little shell, and just finishes the game. And to make it worse, as he's saying it, I just start laughing.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing because it's the funniest thing anyone's ever said to me. So imagine this guy fuming.
Right.
People singing songs as he fails. Then he yells at them and they're laughing at it because it's funny.
Right.
That was the greatest rage I'd ever seen in anyone in any game.
I want Carlos to jump on the mic here in this bonus segment if you want to. It's up to you. I have this question to pose to us. Carlos played sports. Okay, we played sports and video games. Some of us only video games. The art of trash talking. Okay, there's an art to it. There is an art to it. Sherman had a little bit on Sports Center. There's an art to it. My form of trash talking, it doesn't involve the actual game itself. For instance, when even in a loss, I'll trash talk. The Chicago Bulls beat the Miami Heat last year during the streak. Remember, they lost in Chicago. I posted on Facebook, and I got a lot of people angry from Chicago and friends of and fans of that team. I said, yeah, you guys won that, but you also have the highest murder rate in the country. Like,
yeah, it was a favorite for you.
Like I'll go, for instance, playing Halo. If the guy was British, I'm just shouting out 1776, motherfucker. Like I'm like who saved your ass in World War II, bitch? You know what I mean? I'll go more towards their nationality and not really what's involved in the actual game itself. What's the art of trash talk, and what is your role in trash talk? Because we all trash talk, even if you say nothing.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to do it, and I do it consistently, and I'm pretty good at it too. I can get under people's skin, especially when we're playing. And God forbid I'm playing well. That's even worse.
But where do you go? Do you go to how they look? Do you go to how they play?
Man.
Anywhere.
If they got girlfriends, I played in adult leagues before, and they've had girlfriends watching, and I make comments about their girlfriends. I'll make comments in reference to, are they going to take their girlfriends home now? Or I'll point at their girlfriend and says, you might as well get him out the game now because he can't play. I've gotten teched and thrown out of games by officials for that kind of stuff in my own city.
What's your personal favorite one though? Like, what's your personal favorite route to go if you're trash talking to somebody?
basically, if I'm playing, it's going to be basically on my game.
On your
what
game.
On what I'm
Okay.
doing at that point in time.
Okay.
I'll go anywhere, and I've gone anywhere, but I'll stay. If I'm playing well, it'll be on my game.
Yeah. Alan, Matt?
For me, because I'm relatively silent when I play, but what does happen because of the kind of skills I acquired is that I do things that tend to be a mild bit embarrassing to the other person. For instance, the fat guy that crosses you over could be a bit embarrassing if you're being crossed. Or all those ridiculous floaters that I throw.
Right.
I've had someone jump as if it was a pass on a floater. I make it, and they yell at him.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I didn't know he was going to shoot it. It looked like he was going to throw it to someone else. What do you want me to do? Do something. So while I don't say a word, it's more my bullshit.
Yeah.
And then me laughing about it. That's the second part. As it starts working, it's just me giggling, which I'm sure no tough guy enjoys.
No,
as they're
no.
being embarrassed with floaters they can't understand, and the fat guy who crossed them is jiggling and giggling.
Josh, Matt, you guys played actual basketball too, along with Alan. Trash talk?
I was relatively quiet also. I wouldn't really say too much.
Relatively, you were mildly depressing.
Yeah, I was. I didn't really say much. I'd rather just play.
So no trash talk from Josh.
Nah.
Matt?
Meanwhile, the Sanch most likely the trash talk, baby Sanch.
I would trash talk a lot. And it was mainly like, what are you doing? You're fat. Go home.
So it's more personal. You're attacking
I'm
their
personal.
person.
Yeah.
That's very deep,
Yeah.
Matt. That's very deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cause see, for me, if I'm playing on Halo, for instance, and the guys from Japanese, I'm yelling out "Gojira," you know what I mean? Just I'm going more towards their nationality,
wait,
something that
what?
they can't control.
Wait, the guys from Japanese, I'm yelling out J-Raw.
Gojira.
Gojira. It's Godzilla.
Gojira.
No, yeah. I'm kamikaze. Like I'm going for something that they can't control. You know, which is their nationality or where they're from, which is kind of worse.
I feel like you'd fit in Europe. I feel
What do
that's a very Europe thing to do.
I think it
yelling
is.
about other countries.
See, the thing is, I won't say the N-word at the guy. You know, I won't go that route, but I'll say, like, if they're from France, you know, I'm gonna say, your flag is whiter than my skin. You know what I mean, or something like that. Whiter than a Frenchman's flag. You never heard of that term before? All right, never mind.
I heard.
Yeah, the flag for retreat. You ever
Yeah.
heard the story of the white flag factory that got bombed?
No.
The entire French military shut down because of it.
No, Rick. Daryl.
It's all right, baby brother.
This is the first segment that we've done since Game of Thrones ended where we're going to talk about a TV show.
Hell yeah.
And you know what? I miss it. I miss the Game of Thrones. I miss that segment where we get to talk about what's going on. And the thing is, I watch Walking Dead. 3 out of the 4 watch it, but because George doesn't watch it, we can't talk about it because it doesn't make sense for me
How
to
about we
sit
just
out.
have him make zombie sounds as we talk?
He does that anyway. And he's snoring half the time anyway, which sounds like zombie stuff. Welcome back to the Sports Table, everybody. It's been an up and down show, but overall we've covered a lot. We've covered a lot of bases, and Josh has done a good job filling in. You know, it's his first time. Were you nervous, dude, coming in here?
A little bit.
Yeah, when you guys did that roundup, what is it? The
The NFL rundown.
rundown. Yeah, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah,
Was that the first time you felt nervous though?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
yeah, because that was the first time he was put in a position
On
where
the
he
spot,
had.
yeah,
he had
that's
to
the
talk
first
about
time I was
Where
actually
you had
on
to talk
spot.
about
The
it.
other stuff was just whenever he felt like saying something,
Right.
he'd blurt it out.
But Keith has been. I mean, Halfbeard's been on here and he's felt nervous before. Stemmer,
No, Stemmer will
Stemmer
fill us
wants
with hot air.
wants to sit here.
Oh, yeah.
Stemmer,
I'm
Stemmer
telling
wants to push me out of the way so he can come take it over. That guy feels comfortable.
Yeah, he talks.
Who else is coming? Rudy's been kind of quiet. Jason's been okay.
Yeah.
He's been kind of quiet too. I mean, like it's not that he's nervous. He just doesn't like.
No,
jump in.
I think the first couple times he was
It
very
takes time,
quiet, and he's
yeah,
gotten more
yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah. Matt, the first few times when I would reference him, you wouldn't want to
No,
talk.
you wouldn't even speak into a mic. You
Yeah.
would just speak in the corner.
You know what it is? It's not a skill, but it's something that people have to work at. Talking about it.
That's a skill.
Yeah, it's acquiring a comfort level, certain comfort level.
Yeah,
with what
yeah,
you
yeah.
got to say and the fact that you can say it.
How do you guys? Let's talk. I'm going to talk to Carlos and Alan for a second. How do you guys feel? Because I've been doing this. I used to work at FIU, and those early moments of being timid or not knowing what to say, I that was basically trained out of me for 2 years that I was at FIU.
Right.
So I've been doing this basically a sports table kind of show for 3.5, 4 years almost. So I'm already comfortable, and I do it at work every day that I'm here. You guys started off in January or February. I always forget.
January.
Yeah,
January.
early on, especially you, Alan, because the Steel Carlos came on a few shows
Before that, right?
Yeah, before that when we did the show prior to the Sports Table. But how do you guys feel that have you guys gotten more comfortable? Do you know your own voice? Like, because people that's something that they have to struggle for. They struggle for their identity when they're speaking.
Right.
And they don't think about it, but there is an identity everyone has when they speak.
Sure. Yeah. There are certain places that you like to go and at certain points that you like to jump in.
Yeah.
I think timing is really important too. Knowing when to jump in
Timing.
with somebody's like that. Perfect.
Well, let me interrupt you right there.
Right. Just like that.
Yeah, it's somebody else, man.
So that I think that plays a big part in being able to feel comfortable. Plus the ability, like you said, to hear your own voice and to know that you're speaking.
Yeah.
And that what you're saying is relevant one way or another.
It's strange. It's a strange thing to hear your own voice.
No.
It is, because you don't, I mean, unless you're hearing a recording or a message in someone else's phone, you hardly ever hear it, and this is somewhere where you hear it every week. How do you feel have you grown any, Alan? Do you feel like you have?
I have in-house. I'm much more comfortable talking with the Theos and anyone that comes in. I'm still shit when it comes to interviews. I'm lucky to
Interviews.
interviews, because I don't know who it is.
Right.
I like, you have relationships with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's usually me with a one-liner thrown in there, and I hope. Like the farting question from last week.
That was a good one.
No, it's not that I'm not capable. It's just I don't know where to stick myself in a lot of cases, and I'm not generally comfortable with new people.
Mm-hmm. I think the Game of Thrones ones really scarred you for that one. The Game of Thrones
No,
interview.
That one interview.
I wasn't very good at the interviews before that either. I mean, outside, like, I think Ricky, because I was able to make fun of the Knicks, was fine,
Mhm.
and the legendary Nigel Cockburn.
Oh, that was
a
great
good
one.
one too.
That's right.
But for the most part, all interviews, I'm more nervous there because I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know anything.
Yeah, it's that comfort level. Like,
Yeah.
you feel comfortable who you're speaking to, and these guys, I don't really know Jesse Agler. I don't really know Diz, but for once or twice that I met him. But
Right.
since I listen to them, and I've got an off-air relationship that I have myself because I listen to them, then you feel more comfortable when you're actually talking to them.
Mhm.
It's not like you've never spoken to them or listened to them.
That's a good point. The interviewing process, Levitard, I think that's his greatest strength.
Without question.
Being able to interview somebody, and that's something he has to work on too, because he's friends with most of the people he talks to, but it's gotten better throughout his career.
Yeah, and he does get great interviews with people like Pat Sajak and
Right.
Alan Thicke, like
Right.
people out of the blue.
Yeah.
And he gets them open, and they talk about random things. And
Well, I think what he does in his interview process that makes him so successful is if he brings on Pat Sajak, he's not just asking Pat Sajak about the stupid game that spins the thing, the tile, whatever the hell.
Wheel of Fortune?
Is it Wheel of Fortune? No,
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune is the wheel. Is that the one Pat does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
that you
So he's
buy
not
that.
asking Pat about Wheel
What
of
were
Fortune.
you thinking?
I was
of?
thinking about the one the puzzle one that you flip the little thing, the screen.
What the?
That's the same
fuck
game. No,
are
it's the
you
same game.
talking
Wheel of
about?
Fortune gives you
Oh, okay.
money to
Yeah.
Okay.
say a letter so that Vanna White turns the
That
thing.
tells you how much I know about it. But he's not asking about that. He's not asking about Vanna White. He's going to ask Pat about his passion, the Dodgers, and baseball.
Right.
Pat Sajak's
Right.
a huge baseball, so he talks baseball with him, and then he goes off. And I think that's the skill that Dan brings, is that he doesn't play just within that little box of his interview. He goes outside and he takes chances with the questions that he asks. Sometimes, as we've heard before, if we've listened to him before, it implodes.
There's something. Again, this is the last thing before we get into The Walking Dead, so Josh can Jim talk again. There's something that we have to, as a show, get better at. I tried to do it a little bit more. Alan even jumped in a little bit. when we disagree with a guest, we have to
Confront.
rebut them. Yeah, we have to be able to say no. When Amigo was on, Alan, I was the one that was mostly combative with him. Again, I've known him for a while, and for me personally, I knew he was wrong, so it was easy for me to stand up. You jumped in more than you have when in rebuttal. There's been a few times where you've done it with Diz.
Every once in a while, something actually, flicks the little bit of cord of agitation that I have that doesn't come out for like 3 years at a time. So occasionally, yeah. But that's also somewhere like I kind of want to sit back and I don't know what I'm supposed to jump in on.
Yeah.
But it's been rare because for the most part we haven't had very agitating guests.
No, then something that we really disagree with heartily.
Yeah.
Like we did that last week, yeah.
Dude.
I would agree. And I would say this. George is integral. He cannot leave the show. He's Jorge of the show. I get that. But the back and forth between us three, because we've been doing this is a lot smoother when there's someone else there or when George is even there sometimes. Because we've been doing it more. It's just a comfort level back and forth. You know what I mean? That we don't always jump in on each other's sentences, Stemmer?
Yeah, we kind of got a sense of when our points are supposed to
when
end.
George is there or when George is not?
Even sometimes when George is there, it's not as smooth as when it's just us three or when there's someone there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's been proven on several occasions.
I don't know how I feel about that. Walking Dead, it's back. What season is this now? Season 4, 5? 4. Okay. I have a lot of issues with the Coughing Dead, okay?
With the Talking Dead?
The Coughing Dead. There's been a few things that have been getting at me this season. Walking Dead, for me, is best when it's in its primal form, when they are on the move. When they're stationary, the story gets stale.
Well, it gets stationary. The story gets stagnant.
Literally.
Yeah, it literally gets stagnant.
When they were on the farm, it wasn't that exciting until the end when they had to leave the farm. When they first got to the farm, it was exciting too.
Yeah.
Same thing with the prison. You start season 3 off, and you're like, yeah, they got a prison. They have to clear it out. They got to make homes. They got to defend it. Then you get the governor coming in, and you're defending it. Now you've been there for a long time. There's not really that much going on besides this swine flu.
I'm going to disagree because the thing about keeping them there and giving them something they cannot physically fight against is this season is spending its time really looking at the characters. Like this past episode was very Herschel heavy and his motivation.
Yes.
You were talking about how we've built up Rick. Rick has had already a couple times where he's basically looking in the mirror. The episode we had talked about before when he met the black guy that he had met in season 1.
Yes.
How almost the whole purpose
we had to clear.
Where he had to almost look himself in the face of hopelessness. They've done that a couple times now with Rick. We've gotten that with Carol. We've gotten that with Herschel. We've seen how, I don't remember her name, the young Herschel's youngest daughter.
The blonde.
Yeah. How she has fucking lost her soul.
Right.
And we're seeing it now also with the kids. What they've done is we're taking a look at what this world has done to people for now. This sickness has made it so you had to stay, and now you are looking to see how people react, how these people have changed. We're seeing Carl. Carl was on the path to being the biggest fucking asshole on that show
He's completely
and being a
flipped
sociopath. And his dad's insanity brought him back, and he's become balanced while still understanding how to use an assault rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
like you're seeing it. You're seeing all the different aspects. You're seeing the girl who thinks, the zombies are still people.
Yeah, she was even going come here,
I
come here, come
hate
here.
that girl so much.
Yeah.
But you're seeing all these other avenues and developing. You saw Tyrese finally develop some form of personality. You're seeing Michonne and how she still fits with her. You're seeing all that. And I think it's all setting up to deepen what you care for so that now the governor's coming back, expect some people to die.
You know what I like about this show?
What's that?
What I like about this show is its timelessness. This show, unlike a lot of other shows that are on television, can go 8 or 10 years and have a storyline that progresses and grows with the show. Unlike other shows where characters outgrow themselves because kids become teenagers or adults, and now they don't fit the role that they were put in to begin with. But in this type of setting, in this type of show, it's okay for Herschel to get older in 10 years and maybe die of a heart attack and have one of the younger girls that's now 12 or 13 years old in 6 or 7 years be 20 and now be one of the leaders of the group, and Carl grow up to be the leader of the group, and how they have to transcend from the prison to the next place they got to be, and the possible cure that's in the future, or how they get, so I see this show is one of those shows that can actually, if they play it right, can go on for a very long time and grow with the characters, and the characters can grow with the show.
Well, I think the quintessential character that embodies what you're saying is Carl.
I think so.
When Carl starts off, he's literally a boy in the first season, staying with his dad, staying with his mom. Then he has an association with Shane, and Shane's death affects him, that Carl had to shoot him in the back when he came back from the dead, and became a walker on the farm. And then he went far to the extreme where he was cold and he shot down that kid when he surrendered.
Right.
And then now he's sort of swinging back again to nice Carl, where he's working with his dad and they're going, what is it? What's the video game where you fight two guys together? It was like a skinny guy and a fat guy, where you shoot around. I don't want to say Banjo and Kazooie, but it's like where you're fighting side by side with your dad. That was a cool scene. That was one of the cooler scenes of this whole season.
And if you look into it deeper, it's Rick kind of slowly but surely accepting
who Carl is.
That he can't protect Carl from this, and that Carl himself is he's more ready than Rick even wants to accept.
Right.
Because you saw it. Like, he explained the assault rifle. Carl got it immediately, and there was a point where Rick had to reload, and it almost looked like he was stumbling, and Carl immediately shot the guy who was concerned, threw him the ammo pack, reloaded himself, and then moved forward with the assault rifle.
Mm-hmm.
This show, the thing that I think does so well is they make you care, and they do the thing that I think all good stories have. They're very willing to kill people. There is no concern for we can't kill Rick because Rick and Herschel are just as ready to die as anyone else on that show. We saw it with Game of Thrones.
Oh, it's got to be random. I agree.
I went to a convention this past year, and one of the things I actually went to, they had Big Tiny, the real big black guy they had in the prison.
Yes.
And he was talking about, he said, look, it was a great gig, but no one knows what's going to happen when they go to shoot. You uncork the script not that far ahead. No one knows anything about the episode after that. They keep it secret. And what they've done is they have a source material. This is all coming from a graphic novel and a set of games, but they're not leaning on it to the point where they're just replicating it. It's its own thing.
Story, yeah.
So while they can look back and see how other things worked, how other people took that, they're completely independent, and the best stories kill people and make you feel bad about it.
Sure. I mean, when Dormany died.
When who?
On Boardwalk.
Yes. When Jimmy died.
That bothered you.
Yeah, it got to me.
Because at that point in time, he was becoming a favorite character.
Right. Same thing with Rob when Rob died.
Forget exactly. Rob. When Ned Stark lost his head.
Well, yeah, that was early on.
Episode 2?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, it was so... I remember sitting there and just being so confused. I'm like, this guy has to be the main character of everything. He just lost his head. And his hands up and confused. Like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? And just end the
How
episode.
do we watch this?
But the thing is, you know what? Walking Dead isn't like Game of Thrones, though. They're not going to let go of Daryl. They're not going to let go of Rick.
No. You say that. But what I'm telling you is because they are not holding to a strict set of events. Game of Thrones has to kind of follow the same set of events that's in the book.
Right.
They can take some liberties. But Walking Dead, the games, the graphic novel, and the show, while similar, do not inhibit the same worlds. The governor from the graphic novel is not the same governor that's in the show.
Right.
Like, I've heard theories that they're actually brothers. There's a parallel world.
Cool.
Where the brother that died for the TV show one is the one that's the governor in the other one, which is why they're a little different. Like, you hear all these things. They don't have to hold on to anyone. If I told you at the beginning that Shane was going to die or that dude in the Winnebago was going to die, You would be like, nah. With the blonde we hated last season. She's a main character, very important. She's not gonna die.
Andrea.
Andrea, yeah. Killed off in embarrassing fashion.
I thought honestly they should have just let Glenn go, man. They should have let Glenn go.
Well, how
But-
do you know he's not in the clear? Is he?
He's not in the clear. You're
No,
right.
but
I
that's
don't
what I'm
think he'll
saying.
make it.
This show sets it up as you were observing humanity in this state. As you've gotten to a point that zombies are no longer the main threat. They're almost a natural part of things around them.
That's a cool development.
Yeah,
You're right about that.
That they're so used to it at this point that it's just nature. It's as if Indians are hunting bears.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's going to happen as you go forward, as they move on. It's going to be like, you ran across, you're hunting or you're walking and you run across a bear, or you run across a lion or something like that. And it's just going to become part of the landscape that we're living in. And I think looking forward into this, you can see them developing communities and this and that with that in mind. And I think that's a pretty they got so many different options of where they can go. And I know nothing about the
Graphic
books
novels,
and the graphic novels or any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm going on just what I'm thinking about from a viewer's perspective, that they
And-
got so many different ways to go with this.
The thing is, it doesn't even matter if you know the books.
Yeah,
Like
'cause they go
anyone who's
different.
read the graphic novel knows who Michonne is.
Right.
But you don't know how Michonne is actually going to be on the show.
Right. Because she's already different.
She's already different in,
There's no
in her
Daryl.
own little ways.
There's no Daryl in the graphic novel.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he died off somewhere.
No.
they
There
didn't-
is
they
no.
didn't
There's no
character.
Daryl at all?
No.
All right,
he's not a
exactly my
character.
point. They're taking from the ideas of the source material and making their own world. And everyone's on notice. Everyone can die. No one would have thought Carol would have been the murderer until you saw her push over the
kinda
water
knew it.
thing.
I
and
kind
you-
of knew it. I kind of knew it.
I'm going to be very honest with you, and I said this to Halfbeard. I don't think it was actually her. Because I don't trust that little girl with her cough. And she's fucking crazy.
She can't drag a body. She's too small.
Listen to me. I'm not saying it was her stab, drag, gas. I'm saying she might have found out about this whole cough thing and decided, I didn't put my daddy out of my misery. I got to do this for these people. They're gonna die and get us. She might have gone in and killed one.
Done the dirty work.
I don't
No,
agree.
she killed one, and Carol found her and finished it off and did all the burning and all stuff. Mainly because I just don't. Something about her makes me not trust her.
If
The way she's crazy and the way I still think she's the one with the fucking headless rats out by the walls.
that's what I was gonna say. If you were to say that was her, I would say yes.
No,
but
it's about a 90% chance it's her. But I'm saying that there's so many. Like, she's sick. She wasn't fucking sick. She looked better than Herschel. And Herschel looked like he was just unbeatable with
Right.
this flu.
right.
And her cough was. This is a little child. She's maybe 9 years old. And this thing is killing grown-ass people. And the only cough you got is.
Mm-hmm.
While other people are coughing to the point that their eyes, they're
Exploding.
bursting and red.
Right.
I don't trust her.
There's only one thing that I have to say that's negative about this season. It's that, first of all, the character development itself has been kind of stale. I mean, what have we seen so far? That the guy's a drunk. Okay, Michonne is staying around. She doesn't really know why she keeps chasing after. Okay, like there's not that revelation where Rick is literally seeing his wife in front of him and he sees the reflection.
You've missed on Michonne already. Because if you have, it's been small, but you've seen she's still driven by hatred with the governor to the point where she's almost ostracized herself,
right?
To some of them. Then you have the scene where she gets to hold the child for the first time.
She breaks down.
And she breaks down.
Yeah.
Why?
Because she either probably lost.
We don't know
someone-
why.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Part of development is to some extent show things that make you think why. What is it about Tyrese that just lost his shit completely? Why? What is it about him that with a fucking, I think it was a hammer. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. With a hammer, fucking beats his way out of a horde, a complete stampede of zombies with a hammer. Why? Those little things. The most obvious one is, that guy who's a drunk, who's twice already put people in bad spots.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to almost pay attention harder for those little things because that's what starts opening up the bigger story. I think this season has developed a lot because you're seeing Rick constantly having to question his motivation.
Rick is
you
someone
just got
different,
a Herschel
sure.
one. Herschel, you just got a lot of him.
But what did Herschel develop? He's like, okay, he has to put up the front.
No, you saw. What you saw out of Herschel is he went from this blind, stubborn-ass farmer, and now, for the greater good, he's holding his faith, but trying to constantly do things at the cost of himself for the betterment of the people around him. That whole thing where he doesn't want them to see, it's minor. He's told Rick, I know they know what I'm doing, but I don't want them to see it. He's opened up as a man of faith, but still holding on to the idea that I'm a man of faith, but I am not abandoning these people around me.
He's not.
Whereas before, it was his faith and his belief, and fuck you if you disagree.
First of all, the fact that I think it was telling when he was sitting in the cot and he looks to read the Bible, I'm sure like he does every night, and he couldn't read it after what he witnessed and after what he went through.
Yeah.
And that's when he actually cracked, when he broke down, and he's like, it's not that he's saying I don't believe this, but he's like, this isn't enough.
My hands are too. I think it was my hands are too dirty. I have been through so much right now, and I also think part of it is he went to his cell and was away from people. If there's a moment for the weight of the lives he's just taken and the things he just witnessed to actually come out, it would be when no one's looking. So, man of faith or not, whatever, he closes it. His hands are dirty. He might not even believe he deserves to read those words. But the thing is that this show is set up to where you could have that debate with me, and we can both be right.
Right. I want to get Josh in on this. Josh, talk about this season overall, man. I mean, again, some of my favorite ones is when they're on the move. Season 1, I loved it. When they were constantly, they went to the CDC, they were walking around. Do you like the fact that they've been here at the jail for so long and the way that this season's gone?
I'd agree with you that it's at its most exciting point when they're on the move, when they don't know where they're going to be the next day, when they don't know what's coming behind them.
Right.
They got to, be aware of everything. This season has been kind of slow. I mean, I know it's always a build up. When something gets slow, it's just to build something up for something crazy that's happening, which at the end of this,
boy did it ever.
Yeah, at the end of this last episode, it's about to go down.
Governor's back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the slow parts of the season is just so that it makes the crazy parts that much more epic.
Yeah, you're setting things up so that when you get to the shit, you know more, or you felt a little bit more along the way.
Right.
And by the way, how great was the way, like, my feeling at the end of that last episode was, Goño, these people, every fucking time, there's something new, something horrible. But I guess it's over. And then it pans down, and I see the eye patch. I'm like, really? Really? These people can't catch a fucking break? Super flu comes to kill them, and he's just hanging out waiting to make it worse? That son of a bitch? Really?
The way that everyone else has died in the past, season 1 was actual zombies, and season 2 and season 3 was other people. It was humans.
Right.
It's a flu, dude. I'm just like,
look,
it's a disease.
You say that, but flus have been go to Africa. And flus kill people.
I get the realism of it. Talk about as a fan watching. It's kind of lame to see these guys die. But I don't want to see coughing blood. I want to see limbs hanging up from the roof.
So what you want is sensationalism, while these are real-world problems that happen in a world that's fallen apart.
Right.
And we don't know. This is a flu that takes people out in a day or two. That's a hefty flu, dude. That's not a normal flu. We don't know. We don't know how that flu got there.
Yeah.
We don't know if old One Eye sent all these contaminated zombies over there. We don't know.
I'm not questioning the contagious aspects of it or the how heavy they are. I'm just saying, as a fan, I don't want to see the coughing dead.
Yeah, it lacks a little.
Yeah, man.
I disagree.
You can't say it loses pizzazz when they're just coughing in their. The best parts of the episode is when they break from their cells,
becoming zombies.
Yeah, man.
I'm aware. What I'm telling you is the way that they were able to keep them in a place, but make it a reason to stay there and give them a real world problem that's gonna happen. If fucking world goes to hell, no one has power, and there's zombies. You don't have a doctor,
You're gonna get
and
sick.
someone gets a cold, you're fucked.
Right.
That's a fact. And especially when everyone turns after they die, which adds another problem. Like, my first thought originally was that the virus mutated and is starting to kill them. That's scarier. But that would require some kind of science to prove. A super flu can make sense. I had swine flu.
So did I.
So, those things can happen. And in a world where you have no way to fight it off, like, I had it for like 2 days before I went to the doctor. That shit sucked.
Yeah.
All right? And if you have no way to fight these things off, these are real problems. They're no different than how do you get food? How do you avoid? How do you protect yourself? How do you get ammunition? All these things that you question how humanity has to respond. I'm agreeing with you. It's not as good as the war with the governor, or it's not as good as season 1 where you're running for your life all the fucking time.
Or I mean, even in an earlier episode, when you see the hordes, what was that? 40,000? How many zombies were there? Or walkers
At
were there?
the vet.
Yeah, when they're trying to get the
Yeah,
medication.
when they're trying to get the medication that they had to get out of the car, and they panned out, and they was just
That was insane.
all you saw was
Walkers.
it was the same thing in the
In
farm.
Atlanta. Oh.
Yeah, in the farm when the farm finally got overrun, that you just saw the wave after Shane died.
Yeah.
Like I get that. It's a little bit stale for me, seeing people cough to death.
Okay, but it has to at some point stop and do something different.
I get it.
We
We
can't just live on hordes, like, because then you're gonna talk about how stale nothing but hordes is. Like,
I don't know.
I want to see what the backstory is with the governor and his
Like,
survival.
where he's been
I
and
think
why he's
that's what they're
sitting at a
gonna say.
campfire. Halfbeard said it so well. That man deserves to be he is terror incarnate right now, because he's sitting in a world infested by Walking Dead, and he's just sitting in front of a campfire,
Open, yeah.
just like no big fucking deal.
by himself.
Yeah, just meh.
That's
whatever.
why.
Well, there were two other tents next to him.
I want to
but-
see what.
No,
the
I'm sure Ramirez and the guy that looks like
Ramirez.
Delani Jones. I'm sure they're both around. I'm sorry for them, but
Right.
I mean, I would have ran when he started shooting all those people.
He's like, get in.
Yeah, you get.
I'll get the next one.
I don't think anybody would have complained if they had shot him.
Right.
Yeah.
And
actually,
no,
that's-
everybody's like, okay, whatever you say.
I get it.
I
From
would've
one
shot him.
diseased, filthy, crazy section of humanity to another one, we finally have the what do I want to call this, Alan? I want to call this. Is this a one-time hitter quitter?
Oh
Or
no! Today's a sampling.
Today's a sampling of the first ever North Korean segment.
Wow, it never fails with these communist dictatorship type of national anthems are so cold, so hard, so it's scary. My skin's crawling.
Let me ease your fears, good sir.
Please do so.
Today I shall read some of the biography, the official North Korean biography of one Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-il was born on a cabin on the slopes of Baekdu Mountain in February of 1942. By the way, his birth was foretold by a swallow. He was born under a double rainbow, and as he was born, a new star was formed in the sky.
Of course, man.
Wow.
That's just his birth. The first time he picked up a golf club in 1994, he apparently shot a 98 under par at North Korea's only golf course.
What a random statistic.
That includes 11 holes in one. He thus retired from the sport, as he could do no better. Did you know Kim Jong-il has the ability to change weather through the power of his thoughts? This is official government biography.
Oh my
This is
gosh,
real.
man.
Yep. Did you know Kim Jong-il officially learned to walk at 3 weeks old and learned to talk at 8 weeks old?
These are like Chuck Norris jokes.
Oh, yep. In junior high, Kim corrected and chastised his teachers for their incorrect interpretations of history. Did you know he's also written 6 full operas in 2 years?
Why is
Wait,
this fact?
Wait, the official biography states, all of which are better than any in the history of music.
Oh my God.
Kim Jong-il in college wrote 1,500 books. You play beer pong, he writes books.
1,500.
divided by 4. That's a lot of books a year. He was writing like a book a month.
Oh, and when your birth is foretold by a swallow.
Well, yeah.
I don't
Under a
expect
double
anything
rainbow.
else.
Well, anything else would be
A disappointment.
Exactly.
According to the Korea Central News Agency, which is run by North Korea itself, by the way, Kim Jong-il is an expert in all aspects of the film industry and improved the scripts and guided the production of the movie Diary of a Girl Student. You know what his favorite movies are? This film expert, Friday the 13th, Rambo, and anything starring Elizabeth Taylor.
That's what it says?
Yep. That's, yeah. He's a film expert.
This is so random.
The world lost a great man when he passed.
Speaking of that great man, did you know he employed a servant to inspect every grain of rice that is served to him? Any with the most minor flaws was discarded.
That I believe.
Yeah.
And that concludes today's North Korea facts.
Oh
Spectacular.
All hail Kim Jong-il.
Oh, Kim Jong-il.
Next week, we talk about tunnels and unicorns.
Tunnels and unicorns?
This-
Is North Korea a fantasy land?
Yeah, this sounds like
All right.
like the kids
I'm going
from
to be
the
honest,
commercial.
at this point, I believe they saw Austin Powers and modeled their evil after Dr. Evil, because some of the things that I've read, like a building they built that looks like the building of a supervillain, and then just left it there.
Yeah.
Never put anything in it, just left a supervillain headquarters.
They are an impressive people.
You want to talk about pressure when
And
you're
his
that
son-
successful?
Well, yeah, King Jong-un's got a lot to live up to. Not to mention
He
the
hasn't
golf.
written 15,000
All right,
books in
all right,
4
wait.
years.
I do have another story that's not enough to make it for a full segment. Kim Jong-un, I think, has a brother or had a brother who was like unowned for this. He left to go do like Disneyland because he was apparently a really big Disney fan in Japan. But the name he chose when he got into the country was Fat Bear. He gets into the country, tries to pawn off that he's not, Korean dictator's son. He's Fat Bear.
Oh my God.
By the way, he is really fat. So the Japanese, who have all their problems with the Koreans, have arrested Fat Bear, a.k.a. Kim Jong, whatever his name was.
That's funny, man.
Wow.
You know what that stands for? I described it once as diving into a pool, and I think it still holds. It's the last wave of endorphins before you finish. Does that make sense? Did that get weird?
Absolutely makes sense. This is exactly what it is.
It's time for Come Mierda of the Week. Yeah. Each week, everyone on the show picks a Come Mierda. Josh, explain what a Come Mierda is.
It's someone who does something stupid.
Something stupid. He's a jackass. He's an asshole. He's an idiot. Whatever it is, that's what we call out here during Come Mierda of the Week. I kind of want to go first if that's... Actually, you know what? I don't want to go first. I want to go second. If I can claim my
Carlos,
my
you want to
role
go first?
there.
You want me to
Yeah,
go first?
I'll go ahead and go first.
All right.
Dateline, Oklahoma.
I love the Datelines.
I know. It's always good after a Dateline.
He goes Datelines, and you go, listen here, bro.
Look here.
Look here.
Look here.
In Oklahoma, Ms. Van Horn. Unfortunately, Miss Van Horn has an issue. Her husband is in jail, and she's been trying to raise money very, very unsuccessfully to try to get him out of jail to pay for his bail. His bail, I think, is $7,000. So what Miss Van Horn done, and Oklahoma gets its fair share of crime, and it's one of the more crime-ridden, cities in or countries or states in our country. And unfortunately, she decided that she was going to try to sell her kids. So
What?
she takes out an ad to sell her kids. And she's got 2 children. But she was willing to sell them either individually or as a package deal. So she's very flexible in the way she's willing to sell her children
Okay.
to get her boyfriend out of jail.
Oh wait, boyfriend, not
Boyfriend, not husband, not husband.
Is
in
it
the
his
sense-
kids?
No,
No sweat off his
but
back.
but
So-
they're hers. But they're
So
hers.
Big Mama wants to sell Honey Boo Boo to get Sugar Bear out.
Pretty much that's the way it looks like.
Got it.
You've never sounded more American.
So she says that she will sell both her kids for $4,000,
Oh, really?
$4,000.
or one for $1,000.
What?
Discounted.
How does that math work? One, I'll buy one, then I'll come back Tuesday
Well-
and buy the other one and only pay $2,000.
On a completely inhuman question, isn't she aiming for $7,000?
Well,
Not only that, that one kid must be an asshole.
point is, whether she sells one child for $1,000, two for $4,000, she ain't getting the $7,000 that she needs to get her boyfriend out of jail.
Yep.
She puts the ad in the paper. The guy that responds, obviously, is a police officer.
She put it in the paper?
In the paper.
Craigslist.
The paper put that out there?
The paper put it out there. It
Hey.
was kind of disguised. It wasn't really shaped in the form of I'm selling my kids.
Child rentals? What are you talking about?
It's an escort.
Labor acquisition.
Needless to say that
No takesies, backsies.
you got them. They're yours. Needless to say, she was arrested. She's facing 15 years in prison for selling children. $10,000 bond. She's not
Unbelievable.
getting out of jail anytime soon. And for that, Miss Van Horn, you're a come mierda for the week.
Come mierda!
Now,
What a
this
come
is a visual. This is a visual.
Okay.
Picture back seat of a car, baby seat, empty spot. Right? Police officer pulls over this lady who in her car has a child seat and a child. Child is not in the car child seat. He's in the side seat. In the child seat, there seems to be a gallon of gasoline that is strapped in.
Oh my God, man.
1 gallon of gasoline. So when he pulls her over, she says to the officer, "My son was in the seatbelt as I was getting pulled over." He's a very smart little guy. He can unbuckle his seatbelt. And he jumped into the back seat on the other side to put on his big boy seatbelt. That is not a very good explanation.
Yeah, question is, how'd the gas get in there?
What's more valuable to you?
Yeah. It's
The
a picture.
gasoline at
It's a picture.
$3.59 a gallon or the kid?
Wow.
I'm gonna throw this out there. That kid can't be that bright if he stuck it next to gas for a whole car ride. His brain cell, all that's in there must be dying from.
Do you believe the explanation that the kid jumped out of the car seat and buckled himself on the other side?
Based on
or
the
that
picture?
she was very, very concerned about spilling the gas that she had just paid $3 a gallon for and wanted to make sure she didn't spill it?
Based on the picture you just showed, I'm going with number 2.
She was. She was very concerned about the gas. She was arrested, taken to jail, child endangerment. Gas didn't make it to where she wanted to take it. Kid didn't make it where she wanted to take it. He was taken into custody, and now she's kidless for a while.
You know what? You think that $1,000 is cheap for a kid? That kid's worth $22.58.
All right, Dateland, the UK. Woo! We're going all the way across the water.
Jolly good.
Young man, 21 years old, Kieran Batchelor. He was arrested. He was arrested for caught burglarizing multiple homes in the area. He goes to before the judge. Judge, for one reason or another, decides to let him out on probation.
Okay.
Right? So, we're not going to send you to jail. Maybe it's overcrowding. It wasn't that serious, whatever the case may be. So he's out roaming the streets. His only thing is that he needs to report to his parole officer once a week at 10 o'clock in the morning. He skips 1, he skips 2, he skips 9. They find him, they arrest him, they bring him back before the judge. Judge admonishes him and threatens him and tells him she's going to give him one more chance, but he needs to report to his probation officer once a week at 10 o'clock. He objects. I want to go to jail for 40 weeks,
Oh my.
which was the option.
Right.
I want to go to jail for 40 weeks because this 10 o'clock in the morning thing upsets my sleeping pattern.
Wow.
I don't want to get up at 10 to go see my probation officer once a week. I'd rather do my time, get it over with, and get out without probation. Needless to say, when he gets out, he's still on probation.
Stupid.
The judge said, I will explain to you afterward, but I will grant your request. You are going to jail. When you finish the 40 weeks, you will be reporting to your probation officer at 9 o'clock in the morning for the next 24 months.
What a dumb.
So enjoy your 40 weeks.
Wow.
Come mierda.
Blow you a
21
bloody come mierda!
21 years old and more come mierda than ever.
That's terrible.
Alan?
I thought Chris wanted to go second.
Yeah, can I go next? Is that
Yeah,
cool?
go ahead.
I gotta stop the music for this one. We have audio clips. Some of our favorite stuff.
Bum, bum, bum.
Do you know who Mary Sue Coleman is?
Mary Sue Coleman. No, I
She's-
do not.
She's the president of the University of Michigan, one of the finer institutions in the land.
Yes, it is.
If you say so.
There's only a few things that a president does publicly. One of them is give speeches.
And accept checks like Donna Shalala.
Sure. Mary Sue Coleman is giving a halftime speech at the Michigan game versus Nebraska, one of the rivals of the North, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You tell me how she sounds, but it sounds to me like she's been slipping on some scissor. I'll let her explain.
Quite explain to me what this would be all about today. I thank you so much. And one of the things that makes me so proud is the tradition of Michigan. The great coaches that we have at Michigan. The great athletic director that we have at Michigan. And there are two phrases that I think about all the time.
Wow.
I'll be honest. I feel mildly insulted. I feel like she's talking like I'm an idiot.
And nobody ran out to jump her and pull her away from there?
No, they all came from the same cloud of smoke.
I love Michigan so much. You guys are like my bestest friends.
Is that Jeff Ireland's wife?
No.
The way that I look in my uniform just makes me so happy. I just love you guys. I need someone to take me home because I just love Michigan. And for that, Mary Sue Coleman, you're my Coleman mierda of the
Come mierda.
Come on, you can't go buzz like that in the halftime show.
Not if you're president of the University of
Come on,
Michigan.
man.
You
Splash
cannot.
my face with some water and give it to the vice president. That's what he's there for.
That's right.
Good God. I'm out.
So we can all agree that Twitter is essentially made for jackassery and Carlos's opinions, right?
Correct.
He's got a lot to say.
I have much to say.
So with all this bullying, incognito, Jonathan Barnes stuff, you can expect people to just start railing on either side of the topic. All right. So these tweets were sent to @JMartNYT.
Is that his handle?
Wait for it.
Okay.
It's a verified account, by the way.
I need it.
Handle your business like a grown-ass man, not a 5-year-old. Congratulations on becoming the biggest pussy in NFL history. You did it, bro. You're number one. You're soft. You're 6'5", 312 pounds. You aren't bullied. Grow up. Then we have a couple that are really nice.
Are you reading from it live now?
No. I'm reading from the Deadspin article that talks about this.
Okay.
All right. These are all aimed at the Jonathan Martin who plays for the Dolphins, correct? Here's the issue. J. Mart NYT is a Jonathan Martin from the New York Times, who's apparently a very, very well-known journalist. And this man has been subject to the scorn of idiots on Twitter because he happens to be Jonathan Martin.
That's funny.
This is why I don't do Twitter, man. This is the example of people's stupidity.
That's funny.
So all of you who couldn't figure out that, and by the way, from everything I read on this thing, there is no reason you should ever believe that this Jonathan Martin and Miami's Jonathan Martin are the same guy.
Is this guy 6'5", 260 pounds?
No. By the way, I'm pretty sure the profiles has some New York Times stuff on it. Just throwing it out there. There's probably some links to articles. Did anything more than just see J Mart, you probably would know. So for that, anyone on Twitter, really just anyone on Twitter but Carlos, thumbs up for you, buddy. Come mierda.
Very well done. Very well done.
Josh!
Well, you guys seem to have done a lot of research for yours. My come miet.
Filling in the George role. Let's go.
My
Perfectly, too, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, thanks.
Don't worry, you'll probably surpass him in the next 2 sentences.
My come miet actually happened this morning in class. We have a pretty big project due on Monday where we have to do at least 12 hours of service learning and then write a paper and then do a presentation.
What class?
A speech class. Okay. Yeah, the teacher was asking the students how far they've gotten and stuff, and one come mierda in the class hasn't even signed up to begin doing the service learning, and this grade is worth, I believe, like 30% of the class.
Yeah, so it's bust or fail or fall. How does it go?
Yeah, pass or fail thing.
It's
Buster
about
boom.
It's about there. So this teacher's asking him, like, where are you in the whole thing? What were you gonna do? And he's like, I signed up. He didn't sign up. So the teacher rephrases the question. She's like, okay, so are you going to sign up? And instead of going with his previous lie of, yes, I already signed up, he's like, yeah, I'll do it. The teacher called him out on it in front of the class, and everyone's laughing at him now. And
he's made it on air as our come mierda.
Exactly.
So you say so for that. Do you know the guy's name?
No, I don't know his
Okay.
name.
What was he wearing? No,
he has dreadlocks.
Oh, dreadlock guy.
Yeah.
So for that dreadlock guy, you are my come mierda of the week.
Come mierda!
Matt, you got one? Matt doesn't have one. What a surprise.
Good job, Matt. Thank you for sitting in the corner.
Good job, Josh. That wasn't that tough, was it?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Let's be honest. That's above the usual George offering of guy in Dominican Republic.
Yeah. I really like your shirt too. Shh. Get out of here, Coleman.
Richie,
All right.
Richie, can I have my shirt back?
No, you cannot have it.
Why not,
Rookie?
Why not? Why not? I want it. I want it.
Because I wore it as a sports bra. I wanted to be like Cam Wake and held up my testicles. And I did.
You want to ride home, Richie?
Fuck you. I'm stealing your fucking car and then defecating in every hole I find, rookie.
Richie, I told you I'm not a rookie.
Shut the fuck up. You're a rookie for a third-year player, which makes you a rookie as far as I'm concerned. I went to Nebraska for a while. We're good at math.
Are we ever going to be friends?
We are friends. This is how I show my love. Didn't you see how I love that girl at the golfing thing? Ha! Wait till I bring a golf club for you, rookie.
I'm scared, Richie.
Don't be scared. I'm going to love you all over with my 9-iron and then blow my bottle in your face. And then you will pay me for my services.
Coach. Coach.
Can I help you? Is there a problem, Jonathan?
Richie's bothering me.
Why don't you go punch him? It sounds like a good idea.
I don't want to hit him.
Oh, well, Richie, he don't want to hit you. Ha, ha, ha! Of course not, because I would eat his face with barbecue sauce.
Thank you, Time. First of all, the Heat, does it matter that they lost to Boston even though it looked kind of bad?
Nope.
Why would it? Okay.
It doesn't matter.
This team
I
doesn't.
know.
This team doesn't give a damn right now.
Yeah. It just looked stupid. Wade looked stupid. And that's my boy. But he looked dumb. The Hurricanes lost and they just fucking
That mattered
terrible,
more.
man.
That mattered more.
Remember that 1 year away? It might be a year and a half, or 2 maybe. Just saying.
The MLS team, David Beckham was out there looking at different sites. Are you guys excited? Are you guys going to participate?
I think I am excited.
I'm going to
am
participate.
excited. I am.
I'm going to participate in this franchise more than I have with the Dolphins in the last 8 years.
We should try to start that walk.
Yeah.
We could be the initial starters. For
Yes, wave the flag,
Yeah.
the sports table flag.
Even if it's 3 of us, just with a sports table flag with the silhouette of us cigar. Just like that. That should be cool.
Just be like, who are these guys? Just follow us.
That's the sports table. Come with us.
You just hear Alan.
Come sit down. Talk to us.
Thank you, Time. We have to thank Defo and DefoRadio.com.
Thank you, Defo.
To Ken and Mike and everyone behind the scenes that put us up there on their website. Thank you to Alan. Alan always does a good job
You're the
on
man,
the YouTube.
Alan.
Alan, we gotta adjust some things, man, on the YouTube page. We'll get to that after. But you do a good job, man. Always appreciate it. The descriptions of the shows are the best, by the way.
Yeah.
Look for us on Facebook, the Sports Table Miami. We post funny stuff up there. I feel like that anytime I post a status without a link, we get more likes and clicks than the actual reports that we give out.
I haven't figured out our listenership. They're a little awkward.
Text me information on how to get on Facebook.
Okay.
Well, you need.
I'll tweet it to you.
You
man.
kind of need a Facebook though.
I have one. I just gotta request.
My
My new
I know.
password.
Like it. We got a lot of things to say.
I don't know. I gotta find it.
Deadspin has a lot of things to say, and we like to share that.
Yep. We funnel Deadspin to the ignorant. Yep. That's what we do.
Twitter.
Sports_table. Follow. I got lots to say, lots to communicate. Come on now. I'm nationwide now.
It's nationwide on Twitter. So for Theo Carlos, Alan, Theo George, Matt, Josh, I'm Chris. We're the Sports Table. Do the Dolphins win on Sunday?
No.
No!
The Dolphins might not win, but we'll catch you guys either way. When are we coming back on Wednesday? Oh, Nerd Table! Check us out on the Nerd Table tomorrow.
Well, we'll record tomorrow. Expect some installments coming up along the way.
We're the Sports Table. We'll catch all of you guys next week.
Hey.
Later.
De Alto Cero voy para Martané, llego a Puerto voy